dreams. You for me are all it takes to wipe the slate of my mistakes. I'm not perfect, that's for sure. I'm only human after all. Something about the way you are. Can't go back, we've got too far. Nothing is the way it seems. We're crossing in our dreams. You and me are all it takes to wipe the slate of my mistakes. I'm not perfect, that's for sure. I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. And now there's something about you.
I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, all right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here.
You know what? What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People, in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay, next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know. This channel is harsh reality. Kearny se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl. Like
that is the best shit fucking
shopping for the dresses with mommy. I was the, tomboy that liked playing with the kids.
Shout out to Cherry for just being just easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. Woo! Good afternoon, folks. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Busy day for Turtle Boy, Mr. Aidan Kearny, who's got 2 court hearings today. One already took place at 9 a.m. this morning. Not much came out of that. Just I believe they have to provide the original video because they screenshot video, blah 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 blah. Just a bunch more stalling and bullshit. It seems like so. But this is a hearing in regards to his charges, and this is a First Amendment thing, folks. This affects us all. So I do have the stream, the Zoom pulled up, but nothing yet. I'll go ahead and share it in the meantime. So we'll just have to wait for something to come up. If for some reason the Zoom doesn't work, then I will just simply check in with Twitter and give play-by-play updates here. Team Brittany, good to see you. Thank you so much. You gifted 5 memberships. Oh my goodness. Congrats to Stifler's mom, Kelly, grab ass instructor, and Stacy Q and Vixie Blaze. Grab ass instructor definitely wins. Handle of the day, and a big round of applause also for Team Brittany. Thank you so much. All right, so no Mellow today. What a shocker. I don't know if there's going to be any Mellow today. We'll see if there's Mellow today. I don't know. We'll see. Tim Brittany gifted another 5 memberships. Oh my goodness. Easton's Mimi, Lady Justice, Auntie Bev's verdict form, and Easty Boston proper. Oh, and Bo Dombrowski. Right on. Excellent. Congrats, guys. Thank you again, Team Brittany. So Lolly was there. Why was Lolly there? And it sucks because I'd like to check in with Tom, but I can't because if I can only share one screen at a time. So Unfortunately, till I learn how to use OBS, I can't. I can't stream both screens. But I'm sure we'll hear about everything we need to hear about in due time. In due time. I just want to make sure they can't hear me. That's what I'm concerned about. Team Brittany gifted another 5 memberships. Thank you, Team Brittany. Wow. Team Brittany's on a roll today. The Boxer Brief, D-Jack Jag, Mistrial. Sounds like a bad boat name. Danielle Alexander, thank you so much. Congrats, guys. Thank you, Team Brittany. Appreciate you. Mistrial. Oh yeah, I know about the copyright stuff. See, the thing is like worst case scenario. Normally, when I play music that's copyrighted, I try to find live versions. That helps, and also because sorry, and also at the end of the day, all they do is just demonetize the stream. Like the super chats I still get, but the ad revenue, like it doesn't happen. But I don't care about ad revenue at all. So hey, it's Chaos Coordinator because my puppy loves the super chat song, but more because Free Turtle Boy. Oh my god. He's been through enough. He absolutely has, but this is for the puppy.
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Mr. Cheesecake, thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships. Wow. Thank you so much. Congrats to all you guys who got memberships. All right. Mr. Cheesecake for the win. Got some competition there. Coming up there, Team Brittany. No, I'm just kidding. No, Team Brittany is incredibly generous with the memberships and everything else. It's just super helpful to the channel. So I'm super grateful for her. It does sound like I'm on life support, doesn't it? That's actually the Zoom. So, all right, exactly. The Zoom at least got a flatline soon. I love it. That's funny stuff. Yes, that's very true. Carlo Gambino became a member. Right on. Bisou, thank you so much. How do I purchase a membership on your channel? I have a link in the description, and Cherry will drop the link quite often in the chat. So yeah, and yes, I'm hoping for some spicy bradle today. I love spicy bradle. Even there is times though, like the last time, I feel like he got like, I was like, whoa, in my mind, I was just like, whoa, I was like, yes, because I love spicy Bradle, but at the same time, I was like, whoa, hey, chill out there. Don't do it. Don't do it, Bradle. You look like you're going to throw something. Team Brittany gifted another 5 memberships. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Congrats to Donna, Kevin Murphy, Heavy Hauler, 617, Carrie. God, I gotta get glasses. Carrie Klochek, Gina 5446. Right on. Congrats, guys. Thank you again, Team Brittany. Gerda K gifted a membership. Right on. Thank you so much, Gerda K, and congrats to Liz Nelson. Right on. Nicole Pierce, stumbled on you 3 months ago. You've done amazing. Awesome. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. It's only because of folks just like you that have subscribed and supported. Oh, there's something.
So if I may, Your Honor.
Please.
It seems to me, I don't know what new issues we might take up today, but it seems to me the last time there were 4 or 5 things that we discussed that the court was looking for responses on. One was the Rule 14 discovery motion. The second, the court directed me to file a response to the motion for special discovery. Third was the Rule 17 motion that I've already alluded to. Fourth was the motion to disqualify special counsel, which was put over to today. Today, Junior? On that today or not. And finally, the court inquired about the status of the motion for a bill of particulars. I informed the court at that time that I understood that Mr. Mello was working on it. And my understanding is he has since filed a bill of particulars. I might imagine that Mr. Bradle has some comments to make about that.
Oh my God, man.
We'll find out. So that pretty much
is Biden prosecuting Turtle Boy? What the fuck's going on?
I know that you had filed, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I know that you had filed notices of the discovery that has been provided up to this point. There were copies of letters that were provided to Attorney Bradle. What's your sense, ADA Cosgrove, of where discovery stands at this point on both cases?
Well, I think we're probably at the point, I would say, where 98% of the discovery has been provided. There are a few things that I want to do further investigation of. I expect that most of those can be cleared up fairly quickly. I will say that when I walked into court for the first time on this case for hearing before Your Honor, I thought that discovery was almost completed then, and Mr. Bradle surprised me with a fairly lengthy list of things that he was missing that I have since done my best to respond to what extent to his satisfaction. I don't know.
I want Mello.
We'll see what
Ellie. I'll settle for
we'll see what today brings, but I think most of the Rule 14 discovery should probably be provided fairly presently. And then I'll file a comprehensive list and the certification that I have done so. I don't want to certify that I've provided all the discovery until I'm confident that I have.
Understandable. And I know that you did file a response to the request for special request for discovery, that there were certain areas that you had outlined where there were objections to that. to certain requests, and also indicated whether they had been, they were in the custody and control of the Commonwealth at this point as well, too. So I'll hear.
Yes, and I hope I understood correctly that what Your Honor asked me to do was to respond to his motion, not that you had allowed the motion, and that I was to provide it, although Your Honor is obviously prepared by reading the materials. You can see that from the letter that I provided Mr. Bradel that some of the discovery he asked for that the Commonwealth agreed to, I included right in the letter.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Bradel, what's your position on where discovery stands now?
Judge, I have a different view of it. There's a lot of really important things that are not provided. The first area that I want to talk about, Judge, is my client's phones and computers that were taken out of his home a very long time ago. And we have nothing in terms of the contents that was taken from my client. And that's a huge problem. And
so why did they take us?
There's a lot of reasons why my client needs those items back. He's a professional journalist. They took all of his work product from his entire career. And in there are confidential sources. There's personal communications. There's medical things. There's investigative things on the very same state police officers that are charging him here. So they have a self-interest and a conflict in getting into his devices. And they've kept these things for months and months and months.
Those were seized pursuant to a search warrant?
Yes, Your Honor. And we've never seen hide or hair of any of it. And now that brings me to my second point, which is that the government is bound by the strictures of preventive medicine here. It's the case that requires when the government seizes items that implicate an attorney-client privilege, and we would contend other privileges as well, such as the attorney, as the journalist privilege, husband-wife disqualification. There's all sorts of privileges that would be implicated by the fact that they took all of his electronic devices. And but at a bare minimum, preventive medicine talks about attorney-client privilege items. And Mr. Kearny has been involved in litigation as of the time of the seizure, unrelated to this. Civil things, restraining orders, other cases where he's the victim, all kinds of attorney-client communications are filled in his electronic devices. And we haven't been given a copy of that. And at the same time, the government is supposed to comply with preventive medicine, which they haven't. And I'll get to that in a second. But nothing in their duty to comply with preventive medicine stops them from giving us back, either give us back the items, because we know they took a mirror image of everything, give him back his physical items, number one. And if they don't want to do that, if they want to trip him up somehow and not give him the items back, they needed to give us the discovery by May 8th, Your Honor's first deadline, by June 13th, Your Honor's second deadline. How about by today? We still don't have anything in terms of my client's phones. And they could have given us...
Let me just stop you there for a minute. 88 Cosgrove, is that within the 2% of the discovery that's still outstanding?
No, actually, Your Honor, Mr. Bradel brings up a point that I was a little later this afternoon, but since we've come to it now, let me address it now. There are actually 5 search warrants involved in this case. 2 of them involving a different party, and 3 of them involving the defendants. One was for his home, one was for things like cell phone, portable devices, and one was for his vehicle. And I just have a little read you a little excerpt, one paragraph from
Oh my fucking God, man.
32-page affidavit.
I feel like I'm being forced to sit there and stare at my goddamn lima beans.
I think of what was alleged in the warrant. I have it.
While you're looking for that, is there a reason why the items that were seized have not been copied and provided as part of discovery?
Yes, and I will explain that.
Is there a reason why we don't think you're about to fucking keel over and drop dead any second?
Apparently don't
Like,
have
dude,
my
get your
apologies.
shit together.
Shortly after the items were seized, and this predates my involvement on the case, so I don't know if Attorney Bradle wishes to comment on it at this point. My understanding was that Attorney Bradle was in touch with Attorney Mello and said, can't go ahead and search these because we need a taint team procedure under preventive.
Dude, why don't I have a noose already around
Attorney
here,
Mello
hanging, ready to go?
agreed to that.
Fuck.
And set about finding some personnel for the taint team, which he identified. I was actually originally brought onto this case, Your Honor, to provide advice on legal issues, among them putting together a motion to set up a taint team. Before I could get oriented and underway on that, Attorney Mello experienced some personal illness, so I have been pressed into,
I feel like I'm waiting for a
matters
laxative
of
to
which
start
Your
working
Honor
finally.
is quite familiar, and that has taken me away from putting together a motion for a taint team, although I have completed a draft out for several people to look at, and I hope to file it shortly. But as Your Honor knows, the normal process with the taint team is that a forensic investigator and assistant district attorney or assistant attorney general in the office who are not involved in working on the case or the investigation in any way is assigned to do a preliminary screen to filter out possible attorney-client privilege materials, and then the specially assigned assistant DA, who is on the taint team, looks at those materials, makes an initial determination of whether they contain attorney-client privilege material, and then provides that list to the court along with a copy of the seized items to the defendant, or at least to the person whose electronic devices are being examined. In this case, it's the same person. That person and his attorney then have an opportunity to examine the list with the aid of copies of their own devices and come back and make an argument to the court as to other things that should be excluded if they claim the so-called taint team is missed. The court makes a ruling on that. Then once that's taken care of, the results are turned over to the prosecuting team and search commences of the materials that are not deemed to contain the attorney-client privilege. I think we are almost ready to proceed on that. In this case, because of the district attorney's desire to separate this from another ongoing case and to have special prosecutor assigned to the case, we don't have the option of using another ADA in the office or another forensic examiner who works for the DA's office for the taint team, that would more or less defeat the purpose of the special prosecutor. So we have identified outside people to do this. I did happen to speak just yesterday to the person identified that we intend to identify as the forensic examiner to make sure that he was still on board, since it's been a while, as Mr. Bradle correctly points out, and I'm advised that he is. So I would expect that hopefully by the next time I'm before Your Honor, I will have a motion to file to approve the procedure going forward. And I think once it's approved, I'm sure I can work out with Mr. Bradle.
What the fuck are you talking
to
about?
provide clones of the items that were seized.
Jesus Christ, man.
Because the procedure has not been in place. You know, we have not moved forward on it so far. I would say that listening to him, I'm quite sure that we would want to keep the original items that were seized for chain of custody issues. And in case there is a allegation, I'm sure there wouldn't be, that we have tampered in some way with the devices. But I don't see any reason why we couldn't fairly soon provide clone materials. Now, as I listen to Mr.
Can I just
Bradle,
take the bar in
I
Massachusetts?
don't have any problems.
Like,
I'm sure we won't have any
wouldn't it be
problems
fucked
with
up if some fucking
attorney
moron like
case
me passed the
facilitated
bar?
somewhere and he's had communication.
It's just like, look at what it takes to be a lawyer here in Massachusetts.
Civil attorney, we don't have any interest in that. We don't have any problem screening that out.
Oh, look, the camera now.
If he's going to claim that there are 16 other kinds of privilege that should be applied, and I'll just mention one, journalist privilege. I think while I'm preparing my motion for the court, would move things along if Mr. Bradle prepared a motion setting forth the other privilege.
Did he say move things along? Really?
Entitled to, that the Commonwealth cannot search for, and
Shut your fucking mouth!
we can take them at the same time, and Your Honor can make a ruling on it. I don't think there is a journalist privilege in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, for example, so I'll be interested to see the case law.
Okay, I know you weren't here at the April date, which was April 23rd, but there was discussions at that point with Attorney Mello that about the taint team and the things that were happening, so I can.
I was not here.
I'm glad we can see the judge, because I thought maybe he might have cut his wrists and died.
I would encourage you to get that filed as quickly as possible, so that way we are able to move on that. Obviously, that's part of the discovery that's involved in this case. So we'll set a deadline by the close of today when that needs to be filed.
All right, I hear Your Honor loud and clear.
Thank you.
May I just give you a couple of dates, Judge? The phones were taken on October 11th, 2023. Exactly 9 months today. 9 months. And in November of 2023, November 6, 2023, I asked Attorney Mello in an email, can you just take a mirror image of all the computers and phones? Pretty routine in these cases, and the devices get back to the defendant. I can stipulate that all those devices are his devices or family devices as appropriate, if that's your concern. Otherwise, I think it just looks like you're going to try to shut down his reporting by not giving him the tools of his trade back, in essence. That was,
it's a First Amendment thing.
I got a one-word response. We're unable to release any devices until all matters are resolved. So that was their position back in November of 2023. The government proceeded as if the requirements of preventive medicine didn't even exist, Your Honor. I raised the issue, and after a bit of squirming, frankly, the government finally said, okay, we agree that preventive medicine applies. And now here's where counsel's suggestions, and again, as I've said many times, I appreciate that counsel's new to the case and had nothing to do with this stuff. but nonetheless, it's in his lap today. And preventive medicine requires the government to affirmatively come forward to the court, and I'm just going to read it. Preventive medicine judges from 2013, and it's something that we all need to know about. And it says, we conclude in the future, when the Commonwealth seizes devices, et cetera, that have privileged materials, the Commonwealth must
Thank you, T. Brittany. Wow.
present to a Superior Court judge and obtain judge's approval of the search protocol to be used, and specifically the procedures proposed to protect against searches of privileged communications between the defendant and his attorneys. Court supervision is necessary because the harm to the defendant could be irreparable if the Commonwealth viewed privileged materials, even if only by accident. Further, unless the Commonwealth can demonstrate a compelling contrary reason, the defendant must have an opportunity to be heard before the judge approves a particular search method. So there needed to be a hearing a long time ago, and the Commonwealth needed to file a proposed search strategy, and then we were to be heard under preventive medicine. And none of that has been accomplished. Mr. Mello, I don't exactly remember when, but it was at least 6 months ago, said to me, what do I think about Judge Veery, who we all know, and Mr. Verno as taint team people? And I said, that's great. And I reminded him months and months ago about preventive medicine and that you need to file your proposal so we can trigger a hearing. And that's where I was going to bring up what I alluded to here, which is that in Mr. Kearny's particular circumstances, Your Honor, he has much more at stake than just attorney-client privilege. He has confidential sources. He has confidential sources in his phone about this very case, people that have bravely come forward, law enforcement people that have bravely come forward to say, hey, Aidan, here's what's going on behind the scenes. And now the government is in a position here to try to invade that. So there's a lot more than just attorney-client privilege, but that's something it's gotten to in the future.
Absolutely, and certainly ADA Cosgrove understands the process and the procedure. The question now is getting it done, so it needs to be filed. I appreciate your suggestion that you weigh in as to any issues that you think are privileged information and put the Commonwealth on notice of that, and that I'm going to require that the motion be filed on or before August 8th.
So more putting it off. Awesome.
And Judge, meantime, this is very important.
And obviously, let me be clear too on that particular issue, that if there are issues that you were concerned about, that of inquiries that were made that don't follow the procedure, that's a separate hearing that will be addressed at a later date.
I appreciate that. Thank you for raising that, Your Honor. And then that's all well and good, and I appreciate being heard on all this stuff. It doesn't change the fact that this is a one-way street. They're not allowed to see certain things in my client's phone. Obviously, my client is entitled to get his property back, whether it's, we want the actual items back because we know they don't need them, and I'm willing to stipulate. But if the court's not willing to go that far, I respect it. And I would ask, after 9 months, that he be given back the tools of his trade, be given back the contents, the clones of the items, forthwith, I mean, immediately, so he can get back to what he was doing. And then that will put us in a much better position to say, I can go through everything and say to the court at that preventive medicine hearing that we're supposed to have, that Judge, here's the very sensitive issue, this, and, you know, I may even be, you know, ex parte at sidebar, I don't know, but there's very important rights at stake here and issues at stake, privileges at stake. And so we would like to get that information at a bare minimum as soon as possible, and I ask you for a ruling on that.
Commonwealth, what do you say to providing a copy?
Well, preliminarily, let me say I can't say that I've noticed that Mr. Kearny has suddenly gone dark on his more than weekly web presentations.
That's not the point, Ken.
Were seized. I would frankly resist, Your Honor, providing a copy in advance of filing the protocol and getting it approved by Your Honor. But I will look into it. That's as far as I'm willing to go at this point.
If I may, what possible basis could they resist after 9 months of not giving it up, refusing my request, refusing my stipulation, not following preventive medicine? I don't think the Commonwealth is in any position whatsoever, as they stand here today, to be telling you what they want to do. I think they're pretty lucky they're not looking already at a motion to dismiss for lack of prosecution for not giving any of this stuff for 9 months. So I would ask that you order it within 14 days, and if it's not complied with, that Your Honor dismiss the case for lack of prosecution.
Okay. I've set
Well, I'm not telling.
It's okay. I've set that motion is going to be filed by August 8th. We're going to address it at a further hearing that I'm going to give you until August 1st to advise the court and Attorney Bradel whether that there's an objection to providing a copy in advance of that team. I'll give you the opportunity to respond to that. And Attorney Bradel, if there's something you want to file at that point, be happy to address it the next day.
Thank you, Your Honor. So Judge, that's the matter of the phones. And, I see no legal basis. The last thing I'll say on it is no legal basis, Your Honor, for the government to, after 9 months, to not give him back his phones just because they can't see them. It's got nothing to do with Mr. Kearny getting his stuff. And that's all I'll say on the matter, Judge.
Yep.
And we would be moving for that.
In terms of other discovery, where do things stand in your mind?
Yes. Jail calls, Your Honor. And this dovetails with my motion regarding cross motion for sanctions, et cetera. It involves the jail issues there, Judge, where it was determined that everything that was asserted by Mr. Mello in that motion, where he personally went after me, was shown to be completely false.
I know that you filed a supplement to...
And my supplement, Judge, yes. And so against that backdrop, Your Honor, apparently the government has recorded a plethora of phone calls of my client. And at this point, I don't know who they recorded and who they didn't. And they changed, the jail changed their mind about whether paralegals could listen and lawyers and investigators were okay, but paralegals weren't. They were all over the place. In any event, we don't have any calls that they recorded of my client talking to whoever. And that's another huge hole in the government's position that
don't do it, Cherry.
98% complete.
Attorney Cosgrove.
Well, Mr. Bradel always has an extensive list, and perhaps my memory fails me, but this is the first time I recall hearing anything about jail calls. I'm not aware.
Oh, what a shocker. Mello didn't brief you on the case that you're taking over.
Jail calls.
So you're not aware of a motion that Mello filed, and they had a hearing over.
Sure if
awesome.
They were recorded, that they were recorded pursuant to the procedures that the people in the custody of the House of Correction are advised of at the time they become inmates and are given access to the phone.
So obviously, if those exist and that they are,
I said, don't do it, Jerry.
By the Commonwealth, that would be contained within automatic discovery under Rule 14 as statements of the defendant and would need to be provided.
I'll inquire.
Thank you. Attorney Bradel. Anything further on discovery?
It would be helpful, Judge, if the requirements for certificates of discovery were accomplished as well, so I can see what the government thinks they've given us. And
well, he's provided you. Those letters have been provided that I've seen copies of what is the notices that have been given directly to you that have been filed with the court, and ADA Cosgrove has indicated that he will file a certificate of compliance once discovery is complete, but with an exhaustive list of everything that was previously provided.
Thank you, Ron. Judge, and the government's attempted to comply with this, but I didn't quite get it. There's a 2/22/24 grand jury transcript that we had mentioned earlier, and I know counsel thought that they were giving it to us, but it wasn't the right thing. So I'm asking for the 2/22/24 grand jury transcript. I believe that's Ms. Gattani's testimony from that day, the civilian complainant, and we don't have it, and we need it. And so I just ask that counsel provide that forthwith as well.
Okay, well, I know that, Aidan Cosgrove, you have it because you reference it in your filing on the Rule 17 issue and summarizing.
May 8th, I sent Mr. Bradle a letter.
That's what I mean, Judge. The council tried to comply. It just wasn't the right thing, I think, that they sent. Or we couldn't open it. I forget the exact issue with it or whatever it was, but we didn't get it. And so I'm just asking for that it be sent. It was either another
sounds
date
familiar.
or something.
It's the same excuses they gave Karen Reese.
So it's not that document.
Okay.
Same
Any
lame
other
shit.
outstanding discovery issues?
Oh, it won't open?
There are items, Judge, that we can't open.
We're sorry.
That don't have the right driver, that can only be used on a computer that has like 1998 Windows. You know, we went through all this. Council suggested maybe some of this is user error. We have the most experienced computer people.
Right.
They figured it all out. The Celebrate stuff was given to us with some reader from like years ago, doesn't work. And we're working on that. There were some other video items that we can't open, and I'll just keep trying to work with the Commonwealth on that.
It's not unusual that, exactly, it's not unusual that happens with the number of players and proprietary software that's out there, so.
Y'all need
encourage you to
Jesus.
continue to work together on that.
I will just say that the readers provided are the readers that are used to open those documents. I'm not aware that we have other readers, but Mr. Bradle has indicated a willingness to continue working on this, and I'm sure we'll do our best to meet him halfway.
Well, you know, I appreciate that, Judge, but the best was supposed to be done May 8th. The best was supposed to be done June 13th. And here we are again. You know, I'd like a little more than just we'll do our best.
Dude, come on.
Could I ask the court to impose
An order.
certain, as we lawyers like to
Let's
say,
go.
so that I can know when this is going to come?
I don't think it's my responsibility to buy software for Mr. Bradle. We've provided him with the software that we use.
Who the fuck's asking you to buy software, Dick? Are you saying
Having trouble with it.
the discs to
We
be?
can, but I don't think our obligation extends to being computer technicians.
Are you fucking kidding
It
right
does
now?
extend to providing us discovery, and if the
Yeah,
means they provide
dickhead.
with, Judge, does not work, they need to find another means.
Okay. Continue to work together on that issue.
Thank you.
Jesus Christ, dude! Is this fucking
Are we ready
real
to
life?
move on to the Rule 17?
Rule 17, Your Honor, yes.
Okay.
Judge, if I may, I would file this one under a no-brainer that this is a Rule 17 situation. First of all, the notion
Be
that
quite.
the government
Be quite what?
can oppose
Be quite beautiful,
a third-party
sexy,
request,
amazing,
I would
fantastic.
submit inherently violates my client's due process. What does the government, what business is it of theirs to defend or to fight off a request to a third party for non-privileged records, Your Honor? And I would point by analogy to the civil side of the docket. As the court sees all the time on the civil end of things, a civil lawyer can file a record keeper deposition to a record keeper at Verizon and have it notarized and send it off and get any sort of non-privileged records they want without taking all this judicial time. And so here we are where my
Yeah, I can't believe this is happening.
We have the government trying to trip us up, trying to argue that it's not relevant, trying to argue that we shouldn't have something from a third party, and interposing all of these factual arguments that I read in counsel's submission about he said, she said, Ms. Kearny said this happened, Mr. Kearny said that happened, blah, blah, blah. What we have is Exhibit B to my submission, Your Honor, that Detective Tully wrote in his report, and I have it highlighted here, it's the first full paragraph on the second page. Mr. Mello, and again, this makes Mello a witness, and it makes the Verizon records absolutely germane and important to my client. Ms. Kearny at 10:30 at night calls the special prosecutor, Mr. Mello.
Psycho
They have a
host
conversation.
beast.
She says to him that Mr. Kearny's at her apartment. Mr. Mello then forwards the call to Detective Tully. Detective Tully's listening in on what's going on in the house, says he can't quite understand anything being said because the voices are muffled. He's trying to listen in, unbeknownst to Mr. Kearny. After several minutes, he's listening for several minutes. And then at 10:48 p.m., Lindsay sent me the following text message. Ken said to call you, but I can't now. Ken, I mean, well, these aren't there on a first name basis here. Ken said to call me, to call you, but I can't now. He's knocking on the bathroom door. I have to go back out. Please don't call or text, and tell Ken not to because he wants to see my phone. I'm deleting our calls and texts right now.
Wow.
Don't respond until you hear from me, please.
Dude.
So it's memorialized in a state police report that she, Tully, and Mello are all talking together and are all privy to Ms. Kearny destroying evidence. And there's nothing in the police report that you might expect to see where Detective Tully might say, whoa, don't destroy evidence, just leave it, figure out something else.
Yeah, what the
There's
fuck
no
is
mention
going
of
on?
anything when she says to him that she's going to destroy evidence, that to not do it. So
Right.
the evidence is gone. And we know that, Judge, from the discovery that we have been given, that there are messages.
Gee, I
missing.
wonder why they're not
And
given the rest of Discovery.
That's what I mean when I say this is a complete no-brainer, that we need to go to Verizon to see if we can get messages, records to show that there were text messages there, that there were phone records that are gone from the actual device.
Do you have a download of her device?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
And within
there
that-
are missing sections, absolutely, and it corroborates
Absolutely.
it corroborates the detective's report. You know, he wrote it, that she said this, that she's deleting things.
And doesn't that provide you with an ability to cross-examine that witness about deleting things and removing?
Oh, well, yeah. How is that even a question right now?
But I want to see what was said.
Right.
You know, what if that will determine, is Mello and Tully putting words in her mouth? Are they saying what to do? Are they, we contend, and I should rewind a little bit, Judge, we contend that this whole visit was a setup of Mr. Kearny. And they delivered a summons to Ms. Kearny that day after a very contentious court hearing on a Friday, as I recall. They delivered a summons to Ms. Kearny for no particular reason and that I can see. She wasn't a witness in anything. They delivered a summons to her. She got right on the phone to texting Mr. Kearny.
They set him
We have
up.
all these text messages that telling Mr. Kearny that she got summoned, and the upshot of it is that she says we should do it in person. And the last text message is, I have it right here.
Dude, this is insane. Like, they have proof that Kearny, Mello, and Tully set Turtle Boy up just to lock him up. Like,
Mr.
that
Kearny
right there
says to
tells
him,
me everything
well,
else.
that's fine, but I think we should save anything else for in person. And my client says agreed, in person. And she has him come to her house. So this whole thing was to lure Mr. Kearny over there. And it was his first taste of freedom. And then they revoke his bail for this incident. And we contend the whole thing was a setup. And that is borne out by the fact that these two were on the phone with her at 10:30 at night.
Get him!
And evidence is deleted. And we need to go beyond Ms. Kearny, Mr. Tully, Mr. Mello to
You go to Verizon.
the carrier to see what if anything is there, if anything is still preserved.
But you're not going to get content. You would get records showing that there was either text communication, a length of the message, correct, or phone calls.
No, these carriers are all over the place. Some of them give you content. Some of them don't. Some of them will show that there was something there that was dismissed, or deleted rather. They're all over the place. But in terms of a discovery request, these are non-privileged third-party records. And I just wonder, why is the government scratching and
Thank
screaming
you, Kyle.
that we can't have this stuff. It makes me wonder even more what is in there. And it's incredibly important. It's germane to the case. It's an admitted destruction of evidence. So we can't just rely on them or cross-examine that they destroyed evidence. We still have a chance to see what the evidence is.
And how do you go from that particular date to the expansive request that you've made?
Well, I think it justifies an examination into the relationship here, the ongoing relationship between the district attorney, the special assistant district attorney, who she calls Ken, and Ms. Gattani, and how much communication was there, and to what extent is he a witness, and to what extent is he participating in a what we contend is a plan to lure Mr. Kearny to the house and then get him in trouble and revoke his bail, which is exactly what happened. And this specious assault and battery charge that was the alleged violence that Mr. Kearny was supposedly wreaking on Ms. Gattani was abandoned by the government. They didn't even indict it. They indicted the other two charges, but they didn't even indict the assault and battery charge. So all this is evidence that there was a setup here, and that the prosecutor was involved on the phone with them at 10:30 at night.
Yeah, dude.
So, and it's memorialized in their reports that evidence was destroyed, deleted, and taken off the phone. So that's, I don't think we need to go any further than that, Judge, in terms of all the Lampron requirements. It's just a discovery request for non-privileged items. So I would ask you to allow it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kamala?
Well, I will resist the temptation to make light of counsel's comment that his motion is I agree that probably not that he set forth. I do give him points for novelty. It might be nice if the Supreme Judicial Court had not set forth a Lampron procedure in criminal cases, but it has. And traditionally, the Commonwealth is entitled to be heard on Rule 17 motions, and we are being heard. So I'm not quite sure that it's a Rule 17 motion that we are hearing, because what I hear Mr. Bradel say is in terms of discovery requests, and the case law is quite clear that a Rule 17 motion is not a discovery motion. It's a motion to acquire evidence after a very specific set of showings set forth in Lampron and successive cases, that the evidence exists, that it's material, that it's relevant, that it's admissible, and with some I never can say that word, I'm sorry, specificity.
You're a little cunt.
As to what it's going to produce, not, well, this looks suspicious, so let's see what we can find out. It's not a discovery motion. I listened to Mr. Bradel, and it seems to me he omitted the elephant in the room, which is, as I alluded to in my response to his motion, when he looked at Ms. Gattani's phone, and or maybe perhaps independent of that, I'm not sure. In any case, he asked for text messages.
You need to shut the fuck up!
Lieutenant Tully and Ms. Gattani. I spoke to Lieutenant Tully about it. He said, yes, I can bring those up on my phone and print them out for you. So I said, would you do that, please? I'd like to take a look at them and reach my own opinion as to whether or not they are discoverable. He did that. I said, yes, they're discoverable. And I turned them over to Mr. Bradel. So all of the deleted text messages between himself, between Lieutenant Tully and Ms. Kearny, he has. They've been provided in discovery. The relevant time period, you can slice it how Your Honor wants, but I would indicate there's probably about 10 texts back and forth. Beginning at 6:27 p.m. on December 23rd, when she calls and asks for a phone number. There's some conversation about that. Eventually she gets to one of the few, I think, substantive things as to what happened on that night, which is this. Ken said to call you. This is Saturday, December 23rd at 10:48 p.m. Ken said to call you, but I can't now. He's knocking on the bathroom door. I have to go back out. Please don't text or call and tell Ken not to because he wants to see my phone. I'm deleting our calls and texts right now. Please don't respond until you hear from me, please. And that's pretty much it. The following day, on December 25th, which is also pertinent, she indicates that to Lieutenant Tully that she just got a call from a Holden police sergeant who told her that the defendant told them that he would be coming to the station to turn him in when he didn't get. And that's about it in terms of the communications. But whatever the communications are, and it's worth
Jesus fucking Christ,
so,
man.
What's the need to try to get them again from Verizon? And certainly there's no need to get this universe of other materials that he wants to do. I understand he wants to push this conspiracy theory, but there is virtually nothing to support that. I would just say apparently for Mr. Kearny, the old adage applies. If all you have is the hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Thank you.
There's nothing to support that. It's the government's own police report that says text messages were being deleted. And we don't have to, especially in this day and age, what's transpired in this courthouse recently. We shouldn't have to rely on the state police for this, Your Honor. Woo! There is a report that says text messages were deleted. We're going to turn around and just rely on a printout from the implicated officer? That's outrageous. That's ridiculous.
Woo!
I'm sure Verizon appreciates the government wanting to save them a little work, but tough.
Right.
We need to know from a third party what's going on here. I don't want the mistakes of the Karen Reed case to be repeated here. There's nothing wrong with this court doing what's done in every civil law office in this state countless times a day.
Get him.
I know we have to.
We're working in a different environment, Attorney Bradel, as you know. So the civil rules don't apply here. That the court has to apply the Lampron-Dwyer protocol in making sure that all of those criteria are met. So
I understand.
That's what I'm going to.
And we have, and we do, and it's never this clear, where it's in the report that things were deleted, and so we're going to rely on the actors to say, like Howie Carr likes to say, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Move along. Here's your papers that we printed out for you. That's ridiculous, and it is outrageous. And there is.
Did you just quote Howie Carr?
The standard for this court to order this should be about a 60-second argument, and the government always fights these things tooth and nail for whatever reason. Why they want to suppress the truth? Why they want to suppress what could be out there is completely inconsistent with their duty to do justice. And I would ask that you allow it under Lampron, Your Honor. Thank you.
I don't think it's productive for me to respond to
Fantastic.
Your Honor, my argument. I would just make 2 points. One, I don't think Lieutenant Tully has been implicated in anything. And I take issue with that comment. And two, if Your Honor should decide to allow the motion or some portion of the motion, I would ask the court to restrict the use of whatever is developed. If the names and telephone numbers of people, particularly from the earlier conversations, that Ms. Kearny has been talking to are not things that should be spread on Mr. Kearny's entertainment hours.
Thank you. I know that the record holder also has counsel present and has filed an objection to the release of those particular records. Counsel, do you wish to be heard further?
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Thank you.
We do agree with the state's argument. Ms. Kearny has very serious concerns for her privacy if this data were to be released.
Oh,
Ms.
come
Kearny
on.
used the current Rule 17 motion.
You can't keep his shit on that.
Her even now as the indictments against this defendant are pending. She adamantly opposes any further attempt to access her private data or personal information. This is an expansive request. She believes it is a fishing expedition. She does have medical information on there. She has her children's minor children's information on there. So for those reasons, Your Honor, we're asking that you deny the defendant's motion.
Okay.
It's his shit.
All right. Anything else we can address this afternoon?
Still of particulars, Your Honor.
I know that Aidan Mello had filed a response.
So the government agreed to my motion, Your Honor. My motion is a particularized motion. It raises constitutional issues. And just a couple things from my motion, Judge. This type of activity, which we contend is protected journalistic First Amendment activity, has never been before criminalized or charged in the Commonwealth. So this is a unique situation, Judge. This isn't just like another case of this or another case of that. This is a unique situation. That's why
this is a law that nobody applies, was weaponized.
We asked the government with respect to the Bill of Particulars that we said that we must know what prior heretofore legal and unprosecuted journalistic activity they're now perceiving as criminal. What's the activity that they're saying is criminal? They agreed to provide that. We said we need to know what aspect of the enumerated incidents allegedly comprise witness intimidation or picketing, and what evidence the government claims exists to that effect. The government agreed to provide that in a Bill of Particulars. Then if we look at what they've responded to on June 13th, I looked through this document, Your Honor. It goes through each of the indictments, the 16 indictments, and the 23 case. And I think it's a cut and paste job. I don't believe there's literally not one sentence in here that was an original sentence created beyond a cut and paste job from the indictments and the statute. And it repeats, it doesn't even specify the dates and times. It still sticks to the indictment verbiage of diverse dates. So we still don't even know what they're talking about. So the government, to avoid an issue or whatever their reasons were, they agreed to my motion. Then they did not comply with my motion. They cut and pasted 16 indictments with plugging in the statute. So they gave me not one or two things, not a dozen things. They gave me zero information. That's their response. So I would ask that you order a proper response within 14 days.
Thank you. Mr. Cosgrove, I know you didn't draft the document, but do you want to be heard on it?
I do, Your Honor. And
Oh, God.
Indulge me, if you have a copy of Mr. Bradle's original motion there, could I look at it for a moment?
I have an extra one here I can give you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bradle. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Turtle Boy must be super frustrated, but it's weird. Somehow I think Bradle's more frustrated.
So,
I mean,
initially I may be splitting hairs. My recollection is that the court endorsed this motion as unopposed rather than assented to. That may be a small difference. I will concede that given Attorney Mello's response, perhaps the better part would have been to oppose the motion and suggest that a bill of particulars is not necessary or appropriate in this case. And I'm not sure at this point quite what Mr. Bradle is asking for a remedy, but before I come back to that, I will say that despite the fact that Attorney Mello, on behalf of the Commonwealth, repeats that the information is readily available to the defendant in the grand jury minutes and the police reports and other discovery provided, that statement, I think, is indubitably correct. There are basically two charges in this case with multiple victims. In almost every case, the alleged victim testified personally before the grand jury and answered not only Mr. Mello's questions, but the grand juror's questions. So it wasn't a case of a police officer coming in and simply reading a police report. And if Your Honor will bear with me for a moment or two, I just picked out one victim at random. There's obviously 5 or so different sets of grand jury minutes, but I'm going to refer to the grand jury minutes of December 5th of 2023. And I am going to pick at random Matthew McCabe. And Mr. McCabe testified as to 2 incidents involving Mr. Kearny and himself and his wife.
Oh, you just randomly picked
Beginning
that.
on page 42.
At random, you picked that
where
one.
he was at a lacrosse game
Right.
where his daughters were playing against a team in Bill Ricker. He was asked to describe what happened while he was there, and he replied, Aidan Kearny showed up to my daughter's lacrosse game. My wife and I, my daughter and other friends were in the stands. Previous to Aidan coming in, we noted somebody videotaping us who happened to be Aidan's guy. Skipping over, Aidan came in from the top of the bleachers and approached us to engage regarding the Karen Reed case. And asked, what did he say and who was he saying it to? Originally engaged us, you know, fancy seeing you here. I forget how he started the conversation. But he was asking questions. I believe he was asking my wife questions pertaining to the Karen Reed case. And then there's some verbiage I'm skipping over. It's in evidence in the Karen Reed case. And then he might have asked if we were smarter. My wife was smarter than Karen Reed. And I believe I responded to him that his question was answered in court already and that he should be, you know, should be looking at what was said in court and not engaging us. Things got a little hostile as voices were being raised. Other people were asking him to leave.
Okay, smart ass. Let's see what this mystery's
as I
all
said,
about.
another gentleman was there videoing it. And then as I left, I believe he was screaming, we were cop killers or we're murderers again. I don't know the exact words, but they were along the lines of cop killers. I remember murderers. We are cop killers. We are murderers. And proceeded to say that as he left.
Guess what we're going to watch after this?
Asked how that affected him emotionally.
Just take a wild guess.
Then he describes another incident where Mr. Kearny approached him when he was at Superior Court. He identifies himself as a witness in the Karen Reed case. And then he goes on to describe a so-called rolling rally where his crowd of followers, the witness says it could have been 50, it could have been 70, I don't know the exact number. They showed up at our house with my wife, myself, and my 2 older daughters. We stayed in our house. Aidan came out. I believe he had a blowhorn and stood in front of my house again. Don't know all the wording, but believe he was just there engaging and yipping about the case again.
Yipping.
We are murderers. Murderers live in this house. Cop killers live in this house.
You've got a blowhorn,
A number
bro.
of different individuals there. One walked up and to my Ring camera and put his face up and said, "I think we're going to jail." And it goes on in that vein, Your Honor, very specifically describing these two incidents. And apart from that, Your Honor, you had the testimony of Lieutenant Tully, and he was there to introduce the video. Mr. Kearny is proud of these outrageous attempts to bully witnesses from testifying.
It's because it's not.
And he features them on his show.
It's bullying them
So this
to
grand jury
testify,
was
if
treated
anything,
to,
if bullying.
a couple
But really,
of,
it's just free speech.
pre-shows of Mr. Kearny's various shows portraying himself in the very act that was just described by the two witnesses. And in addition to that, there's the police report from Lieutenant
Right.
Tully and so
I mean,
so if there is one thing in the world
are you going to
that is
intimidate
not
them to
necessary
already
have
testify?
a bill of particulars for, it's this case. And I would just ask the court to strike the allowance of the bill of particulars or let it stand as is. As I say, it's a little unusual, but it's a totally fair response given the circumstances in this case. If Your Honor is going to order me to make an extended or further response, bill of particulars for these 18 indictments or however many there are, they're all along the same lines. I'm happy to sit down and send the district attorney a bill for my billable hours of 6 or 8 hours of transcribing all this stuff from the grand jury minutes and the police reports and the witness testimony. But I think it would be
Oh,
more
you better turn off
productive
your phone, whoever that was.
Some of the other tasks that Your Honor has set forth for me.
Thank you.
I'll
Your
bet you
Honor,
that was
this is
Gattani's
the
phone.
first time this has been prosecuted. If this is so obvious what the wrongdoing is here, how come the Norfolk County CPAC unit hasn't made hundreds of arrests on this? They only arrest Mr. Kearny for this. This just happened the other day. It was all over the news on NBC when a reporter went to the Proctor's house and tried to ask questions and shouted questions at them. She was told to F off and that to get off the lawn, and she wasn't even on the lawn. You know, nobody arrested her. There's 50 people at the rolling rally. Why is only Mr. Kearny arrested? They are targeting Mr. Kearny. They're inventing crimes. That's why in this particular case, we need a bill of particulars. And let's just back up. They agreed to it. What are they asking you here? That they're trying to say, never mind? Do they want a do-over? Do they not like their deal they made? Does any commitments matter to this Commonwealth?
A do-over.
I mean, what are they doing? The court ruled on this already. We have a ruling that's been entered on the docket, and now they want to squirm out of it. You know, enough. They need to respond, Judge. They agreed to respond. They're still not even specifying the dates. They're still sticking to diverse dates. Oh, on diverse dates, Mr. Kearny did this and that. So what about what counsel read? Okay, what part of it is a crime? We've never known this before. Reporters can ask questions. That's what they do. Reporters have to be tough when they're dealing with corruption. Reporters have to be tough, and they get vindicated sometimes, Your Honor.
I love when lawyers validate my shit.
A lot of that is from Mr. Kearny. And you have to be tough to ask these questions. You have to be tenacious. You have to get in people's faces. You have to ask them 50 times, so maybe the 50th time they might answer. And I think there's a few journalists in this room that might agree with me. And there's a few journalists in this room that might be concerned that this is going to be a crime.
Welcome, Plevin.
We need to know when the government decides to invent a new crime in an insanely broad, unconstitutional statute.
No, Plevin could be here.
They need to have their feet
Maybe he'll
on the
learn
fire
something.
as to what are they saying is the crime here. This statute is the most broad statute probably in our criminal books, Your Honor, that talks about the way to do this. People that announce their intention to go to a court proceeding are now all of a sudden have this special status. And the ways that you can violate the statute, you can invoke emotional harm, economic harm. Does that mean that if I say, I'm going to sue that person, they're lying, I'm committing witness intimidation because I'm threatening to commit economic harm on the person? The statute is crazily unconstitutional, insanely overbroad. It's going to get struck down, and the government here is trying to use it. Let's be real here. The government is trying to use it to shut down Mr. Kearny, who was making all sorts of headway against the state police, the district attorney's office, the Kearny investigation, and they're trying to shut him down. That's what this is all about. They took this statute that's never been used this way before, and they just apply it to him. So that's why we need a bill of particulars, Your Honor. That's why I filed a 3 or 4 page thing alleging constitutional issues. They agreed to it, and then they completely blew off compliance. And that's the posture here. They're asking you for a do-over. I don't know what's going on here.
No, it's Plevin.
We need to know those things.
I checked.
Because it's a brand new.
He can be here.
It's a brave new world.
Like I said,
Let me
feel
ask
like
you this.
something.
Does this affect your ability to file the motions to dismiss that you indicated you were going to file on the last day?
It does, Your Honor, because I need to know what they're saying is the crime and what they're saying is okay. You know, we're at the point where we need to go to the government to know what's okay now under the First Amendment in Norfolk County. Can we use a bullhorn? Can we bring 5 people out to protest? Can just one person protest? Do you need to be a certified journalist with a fedora and a press card? Or can you be a regular person and still have the benefit of the First Amendment? We don't know that in D.A. Morrissey's county. We don't know that. And that's why I need a bill of particulars. What are they saying is the wrongful behavior here, Your Honor? We don't know. I think that maybe these journalists might like to know too. Some of these journalists are pretty brave when they get in people's faces who they think are corrupt, killers, criminals, people who have newsworthy information. That's what this country's all about, Your Honor. And they are trying to shut it down. And they should, the court's the only bulwark we have. And they should be held to account to make us aware of what they're saying is the crime.
They're
here.
weaponizing the
Given
law.
the breadth of the incredible breadth of the statute, and given it's shocking when you read everything. It's behavior that you see teased on commercials at night when you're going to watch the news at 11 o'clock at night. You see something like, you know, Ted Daniel on the news at 11 tonight. He went to so and so's house and got the story. You know, Ted Daniels doesn't get arrested, and anybody else doesn't get arrested. Anybody sitting in the gallery doesn't get arrested. Mr. Kearny gets arrested. He gets shut down. They steal all of his stuff. 9 months later, they don't give him his stuff back. They still want to stall and say, "Oh, we can't give him his stuff back."
We're not going to rehash all the prior arguments.
You get it.
I'll review the.
You get it, Your Honor.
The bill of particulars. If there's anything that needs to be supplemented, I will advise both sides.
Get the fuck I should say 3 words, 3 sentences in response to I hear Mr. Bradle say that the statute is unconstitutionally broad.
Thank you, Don B.
I hear him say that the Commonwealth is engaging in selective prosecution. And I hear
You
Your
sure
Honor
did,
asking
Brass.
him need a bill of particulars to file a motion. I'm quite sure the motion's involved, but certainly you don't need a bill of particulars to ask for a ruling to the court as whether a statute is unconstitutional. And you don't need a ruling on the bill of particulars to make a claim of selective prosecution. And you also don't need a ruling on the bill of particulars, and I don't know if this is what Your Honor had in mind, because the last time we were before Your Honor, Mr. Bradle indicated that wanted to file a McCarthy or an Odell motion, but he couldn't do that because he didn't have the discovery. We've got all the grand jury minutes now, with the possible exception of one that I thought he was provided that I said I'll get him tomorrow. Bill of particulars doesn't enter into a McCarthy or an Odell motion. It's strictly limited to the evidence that was presented to the grand jury. So I would just ask the court to take with a grain of salt all of these claims that Mr. Bradle has all these wonderful motions that he could file. If only the Commonwealth would jump through yet another 6 hoops for him.
Thank you. All right. So Commonwealth by August 1st will advise the court whether you'll be able to provide a copy of the phone extractions, the computer extractions, or whether that will need to be further addressed. Also, the motion for the...
The phone extractions, Your Honor, I'm sorry. The phone extractions, Your
Take the
Honor,
First Amendment with a grain of salt,
jail call.
Judge.
No, the 3 search warrants that you would
Real
reference
good look there, buddy.
earlier. That information, that by August 8th, motion regarding the taint team should be filed on or before that particular date. And we'll put it over for further hearing parties available on August 22nd, 2 p.m.
That sounds fine, Your Honor. Is that a Thursday?
I believe it's Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good date, I think, for both of us.
Okay.
You say
Mr. Bradle, is that a good date for you and your client?
Judge, I'm sorry, it's not, 28th available? August 28th?
Oh, August.
That's a Wednesday.
So when do you want to keep it on the Thursday?
Is 21st? Oh, I'm sorry, no, my client is not available, Judge. 29th, sure.
And that will be at 2 p.m. Okay. Mr. Kearny, your matters are continued to August 29th at 2 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's it, folks. Okay, so August 22nd. I mean, how many times are they going to do this? I have no idea how many times they're going to pull this. I mean, it is beyond obvious at this point, and I'm glad that it's getting more and more press, because it is beyond obvious at this point that the Commonwealth is weaponizing the law and they're just playing keep away. They're not prosecuting anything. They know they'll never get a jury to prosecute on First Amendment. I mean, there's video footage of everything, which, by the way, we're going to go over some of that stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go over Microdot's video of that. But I mean, Bradle is the epitome of patience when it comes to this. Like, Turtle Boy is incredibly patient, but he doesn't have a choice but to be patient. Bradle is up there and having to argue with this nonsense, and it is clear. And they've even tried to they've even attacked Mello has even attacked Bradle. The fact that this dude sat up there, this replacement for Mello sat up there and said that he didn't know anything about this jailhouse thing that took place. I mean, Mello filed a motion. To sanction Tim Bradle. I mean, there was all kinds of shit that took place. And then they even had a hearing over it. And that's when Bradle got caught on fire. Right there. Like, Bradle was already very passionate about this case, but he got caught on fire as soon as they started with that. Let me I've still got it's not. There we go. All right, let me I'll share Tom CPU and then we'll continue discussing this. Now, Tom's audio is a little wonky because of StreamYard. It's not his fault. So just please be patient.
Every time. That guy, that super walking up there now.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do like a family trivia night, people are against the state too. Try and get that bond, the community bond, so they know what the deal is.
Make sure, guys, to
good idea.
make sure to give Tom a like for me. I'm dropping the link in chat. Just click on that real quick and give it a like. And make sure to subscribe to Tom if you're not already.
And there's Paul right there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This side, this side.
They just mad because they couldn't find Kearny guilty because Kearny is innocent. Now they're trying to put it on you. Okay, that's right.
Any friends?
Good. How are you? How'd it go today?
I thought it went pretty well. Tim did great at the end there.
Excellent job.
Really passionate defense of the First Amendment. Did everything we wanted to say.
Yeah, and that special prosecutor, he's really special.
Yeah. Well, like you said, took about an hour and a half in there. We're just trying to get the information in the Bill of Particulars about how the First Amendment has suddenly become a crime, why I'm the only one who apparently is guilty of committing a crime. They haven't explained any of that. And they're prosecuting me. They arrested me. They took my devices. They've had them for 9 months. They could easily just make a copy of the phones and give them back. But, they took my computer, the tools of my trade. And there's really no reason for them to have them anymore when they can easily just make a copy. So
what's next? Where do we go from here?
Well, the wheels are moving, slow, but that's the system. The corruption. It'll happen. We're going to persevere. We're going to overcome. We're going to persevere. So,
All right, we're dealing with the final corruption.
So what were you saying about the evidence they have? It's not from the phone itself? Is it just screenshots?
We have printouts, right? We want to have some assurances of reliability. Anyone can delete text messages.
Yeah, and destroy phones,
and,
right?
and you saw in his own report that they're deleting messages. So what else have they deleted? We can't with the Colin Albert text too. We can't trust a screenshot. We need the full data extraction report. Pretty standard. And I don't know why they're hesitating if they have nothing to hide.
He's got text messages from Colin Albert, I guess.
I don't know. I don't want to say
I heard that correctly.
But we believe there are, we believe what the police wrote in the report, that things were deleted. So we want to explore it. We're entitled to explore it. Simple. Whatever. No, I don't think they're saying that they gave us the deleted items. I think they're saying they gave us what they have, which I take them at face value, but they might not have things that were deleted. So we need to go to the source. We need to go to Verizon. I don't want that. I don't want that business to happen again. He claims that on the printout is the message where she tells them to delete everything, and that is on the printout. But if they're going to delete that, what else have they deleted? What else are they hiding? Why not just give us the full data extraction report? That's what I'm wondering. We don't know. We don't know. We won't know. I'm told that we have some indications that there are things that are not there that are supposed to be there. When we got the extraction report of her phone, there were no messages from Tully on it. They're gone. So what else is gone? What else was not given to us?
What about the ones Tully sent? Was there messages on there that wasn't in the evidence that was shown to you?
We don't want to speculate, that's why we want to go to Verizon. Let's just get the record.
Okay.
Let's see what we can get. That's all there is to it. It's no funny business. Just let's go to Verizon. Let's go to the source. Let's get the records and let's see what there is.
When's the next date?
August 29th, right? August 29th. So
Found on the value of the Bill of Particulars.
yeah, so they state conduct that you journalists engage in all the time.
Right.
Where you confront people, you chase down people, you go to their house, you go
There
there,
you go.
you go here, you go there. They're alleging that that's a crime without explaining it. How did that suddenly become a crime? Why is it only
Exactly.
a crime as applied to Mr. Kearny?
Right.
Not that we want anybody else to get arrested, but we certainly don't want him to get arrested.
I was saying that if I said anything to Lowry, that I'll be arrested for intimidating a witness.
The charging documents are basically a recitation of comments I've made on my YouTube show, followed by a copy and paste of statute. But at no point do they connect the dots and say how this speech I'm using somehow violates this, because it doesn't. They can't connect the dots, and that's why they're not giving it to us. That's why they're fighting. But they agreed to it, so I don't know why they want to do over now. Thank you, guys.
Good job in there, bud.
We
the fight continues. Cases when items have been seized from your clients, how quickly are they returned? How unusual?
I've had cases where the items are returned because the investigators take what's called a mirror image of the device, and then they go off of that, investigate off of that. So there's no real need for holding on to the person's devices, other than this sort of minimally probative idea that, oh, well, we need to show the chain of custody. We need to show they're really his electronics. And here, I offered to stipulate that they're his electronics, so there's really no reason for them to, but they're still refusing to agree. So
it was 9 months ago today.
9 months today.
In terms of the First Amendment argument you made, I'm curious as to what you made of Judge Rupp's ruling prior, when you made the ruling. It was basically
It looks like there's more independent journalists covering this, which is great.
Doing this journalism, it's conventional journalism. Messages and
You're welcome.
What's your response to that? Obviously, you brought up going to people's homes, but I think that's maybe a different situation that I'm assuming the client will argue on. Potentially, I don't know.
Well, the government has to give citizens fair notice of what's a crime, and they haven't given anyone fair notice of what's a crime now. What journalism is a crime and what isn't? Why can't you call someone and leave a message? I mean, that's what journalists do. Hello, can you give me some comment? Call me back, right? But a tenacious journalist has to call 20 times to get the person. Has to go to the sports event, has to go to the house, has to wait for the person to come home from work. And now that's some of that. Some are part of that. Apparently, is a crime in DA Morrissey County, Norfolk County. So we'd like to know exactly what it is.
But I mean, beyond that, the judge, I think he made a delineation. He said, hey, there's some choice words being used on these voicemails, and the numbers are being posted, and people, got calls after that. I mean, and I'm not sure that that's always the way. Like, I don't always see that on Ted Daniels.
Where do you draw the line? Are we a government of laws or men who decide the line arbitrarily and based on who's in front of them, whether they like the person or not? We contend that's what's going on here. They're drawing the line against Mr. Kearny. They might not draw the line against some other reporter who shows up at someone else's house. It's depends on who got I don't want to say I don't have it. Really, I don't have it. I want to be as precise as possible, but I think you guys get my point.
In terms of I don't know, getting frustrated a couple times. It looked like at least when your brother was speaking, I'm wondering if you have a sense for why he was appointed here. Obviously, he's a former judge himself. Just any comment you have on him?
No comment at all. We go back and forth. Lawyers make their comments and go back and forth, and sometimes it gets a little heated, and that's okay because there's incredibly important issues at stake here, and lawyers can disagree without being disagreeable, and that's how it'll be the case. And, need to be fought.
Brad's
in court every day.
Okay.
Okay, here, causing trouble. Yeah. Lauren, Christy. How you doing? Good. All right, that's a boring question. We don't want to hear. All right, Scott McGinnis, where is he? There he is, bud. Hey,
Scott McGinnis.
He's the man, bud.
You gotta love Scott.
Signs in the camera.
Oh, we got the cameras.
No, these guys.
Yeah. Doing the backdrop of the camera. Okay. Hey, we'll catch you next time. Okay, good. Yeah. Yep. Be good. Ready? Yeah.
Sorry, Dr. Oh, how are you?
Good. I'm wonderful. Guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a day. Again,
right.
we got to continue again, right?
Tom's awesome. Okay, so for those of you who are just starting to follow this case, I mean, I'm not going to give you the whole history right now, but I will tell you that it is directly, Turtle Boy's case is directly connected to the Karen Reed case. And the reason why that is because Turtle Boy did a great deal, to say the least, a great deal of investigative journalism that led to uncovering a great deal, to say the least, of evidence that implicates the McAlberts and implicates a third-party culprit in the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe case. So this is something that is undeniable. This is why Turtle Boy has as much support as he does. And I'll tell you this. I started following this case late last fall, early winter. And I'm not sure exactly when, but soon after I started following the John O'Keefe, Karen Reed case, I started following the Turtle Boy case. And well, let me rephrase that. The more accurate way to describe that is, soon after I started following the John O'Keefe, Karen Reed case, I started to look at Turtle Boy's case. And then, well, I started to listen to Turtle Boy talk about the Karen Reed and John O'Keefe case. And then I talked to Turtle Boy here, and just a couple of days after I first spoke to Turtle Boy, he gets charged with a bunch of these felonies. And I have to think of it as a blessing that it happened. As far as the timing, I don't think it's a blessing necessarily that it happened to Turtle Boy. What happened to him happened. What I mean is the timing of it was a blessing in the sense that Turtle Boy got arrested right after, he got charged right after I spoke to him. And it piqued my interest right away. I got a hold of the charging documents, and then I decided to go over those charging documents live here. And the more that I realized, the more that I did a deep dive into Turtle Boy's case, and into this, just those charging documents, the charging documents were telling enough that he was being railroaded. And right then is where I started to really, really, really believe that Karen Reed was being railroaded. I wasn't sure she was innocent yet, but I was sure that she was being railroaded, that she was being violated. Her civil rights were being violated by the way that they conducted this case. That I was 100% sure of. I was still entertaining the possibility that they were railroading her in order to ensure a prosecution. But later on, as things progressed, I realized that she is absolutely factually innocent. And this was not long before the trial even started. Now, Turtle Boy's case obviously evolved alongside the Karen Reed case. And there's a lot of familiarities going on between these two and how they're being prosecuted. The same gripes that Karen Reed's defense had pre-trial, the same gripes Bradel has pre-trial to Turtle Boy's trial that has yet to come. Now, Turtle Boy, and that same gripe is they are failing, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is failing to provide all of the discovery to the defense. So in Turtle Boy's case, it's just plain and simple. What they're trying to do is shut him up. Everything that we see in Turtle Boy's case is an effort coming from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to try and silence him. And it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. It's infuriating, but it's fascinating because you can look at all of these actions. I mean, we just sat there and listened to this prosecutor just spit out all this word salad when Bradel is being absolutely and totally just as plain as day, stating they have no case. And they're failing to provide us with discovery. They're failing to provide us with grand jury transcripts. They're failing to even present their case. And they've used a law that is that's never been used to prosecute anyone before, is what I believe I heard Bradel say here in this hearing. And it's clearly designed to rob someone of their First Amendment rights. The fact that it's even a law is mind-blowing. It's insane that it's even a law. So it's fascinating to see this, because it's like, how are they just doing this out in the open like it's all good? And not only did we see this law weaponized, I mean, it's straight up saying that you can't picket. You can't picket, and if you approach a witness, press or not, it doesn't matter. If you approach a witness that may be testifying in a case, then you're subject to witness intimidation charges. It's insane. They even weaponized this against a bunch of innocent people, 9 people to be exact, that were standing across the street from D&E Pizza, the pizza shop that that Chris Albert owns. And we heard a phone call. We heard Ken Mello calling the sergeant of the Canton Police Department, basically, I mean, for lack of a better term, ordering him to arrest those 9 people, to charge those 9 people who were standing out there picketing and wearing, just quietly, but wearing Free Karen Reed shirts and having signs. And they were as peaceful as possible. And Ken Mello basically ordered, for lack of a better term, and we heard the recording of this. We went over it. He weaponizes this law, orders the sergeant to weaponize this law against those innocent people, who we like to refer to as the Canton 9. This is the corrupt Massachusetts. This is the corrupt Massachusetts State Police and the Commonwealth at work, because Tully, who was a witness in the Karen Reed case, in a very, very intricate piece of that investigation, an intricate part of that investigation. Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Aidan? It's good to see you, buddy. Are you going on Howie Carr today? I would imagine you are. If so, then I'll stream it. And yeah, Bradel went off, dude. That was beautiful. We heard Ken Mello. All right, right on. So what, 405 or... And dude, yeah, great job today, man. Dude, you must be beat, bro. 2 hearings. It's got to be stressful. Jesus. And now we're hearing, I mean, there's proof. There's proof. It's out in the open. The judge knows about it now. Now, Aidan told us about this. 433. Got it. All right. Thank you. Awesome. Bradel told the judge about this, but Aidan has told us about this before, that there's proof that Lindsay Gattani, Brian Tully, and Ken Mello all colluded to set him up to go to her house so that they could catch him on a bail violation. It's crazy. That can't be legal. It can't be. And the biggest frustration that it seems that this case has right now is, or at least Bradel and Turtle Boy's biggest frustration seems to be, that they keep playing keep away. You know, They know that they can't prosecute him. They know that they'll never successfully prosecute Turtle Boy. So what they continue to do is just delay. And Turtle Boy, if you want to come up here, you were more than welcome. I just assumed that you were busy leaving the courthouse and whatnot, but if you want me to send you a link, let me know in the chat, and I'll shoot you over a link on Twitter. But I mean, I absolutely have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that this is just a railroad job in order to try to keep him quiet, or to try to intimidate him to be quiet by, I mean, it's a veiled threat. It's not so veiled, though, if they have all of his tech and there are sources within the police department. There are sources that he wants to protect, and they can absolutely out those sources. So what's happening here is the law is absolutely being weaponized by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This is pure corruption. Pure corruption. If they are violating the law and they're avoiding even following judges' orders, and why does the judge just keep setting new dates, pushing it back? And of course, Lindsay Gattani's attorney is going to speak up against the defense's motion to be able to return all his tech, because of course she probably A, has something to hide, but B, this is her case. If any of this gets outed as proof, well, then there goes the whole basis of her case. If they can prove that she colluded with Ken Mello and Lieutenant Tully, well then, I mean, dude, we're talking about, Tully fucking traveled all the way to California, clear across the goddamn country, to get some sort of statement to try to get new charges on Karen Reed involving Turtle Boy, saying that they were communicating, and I guess with plans to tamper with the jury, which fell through because, of course, there was no evidence of that whatsoever. I mean, he's a journalist and she is a source, and it's just that simple. So, this is the craziest shit that I've ever followed in real time. I have never seen anything like this. And I'm talking in real time for months and months and months. 2 of those months, homie was sitting in jail on a violation of bail because he was set up to go to this woman's house, who we heard a recording of threatening to pack her 4 children into her car, drive over to Turtle Boy's house, sit in his driveway, and make her kids watch her perform a self-abortion. We heard a recording of her saying this, and we're supposed to pretend like that didn't happen? Someone capable of that? And we're supposed to believe anything that she says? We're supposed to believe someone who has restraining orders against 5 different men and one against her father, as I understand it? We're supposed to think of this person as credible. We're supposed to think of this person as credible when they cry assault, claiming that he pushed her onto a couch. When we heard a recording of her absolutely and totally hysterical and Turtle Boy calm as a cucumber the entire time. No, I'm telling you, I knew this type, as soon as I heard that recording, I was like, oh man, Like I know why Turtle Boy fucked her, and I also know the type of person that she is, because we share the same ailment when it comes to taste in women. I know the type all too well. I know the type all too well. More than I ever. I even have a scar across my abdomen to prove it, inflicted by what I like to call now a Gatani blade. I call those a Gatani blade because it is a blade wielded by crazy, by a Hanya. If you know what a Hanya is an ancient Japanese demon that is known to be the evil in evil women. Not all women, but the evil that evil women have inside them. Wielded by a Hanya. I have my Gatani blade scars. I know the type. So the whole time I'm listening to these recordings, I'm going, yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. this I yeah, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like I totally empathize with Turtle Boy because I get it. There's an appeal. There's a draw that they have, that those crazy fucking psychos have, that I'd rather not discuss on a live stream, but it's real. Brad Blankenship, thank you so much. Been there, bought the shirt. Yeah, see, Brad knows what I'm talking about. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, it's so, and you know, some of us are easily bored. You know, that goes into it too. Some of us are just easily bored, you know. Us ADHDers, what happens is, like, you know, we need to be on our toes when it comes to our women, you know. It's totally unconscious. We don't like date women and go, oh yeah, she's gonna keep me fucking dancing on hot coals all the time, so yeah, I'm gonna date her. Nobody makes that conscious decision. It's just something that you end up doing and paying for later. It just always happens. It just always does. Is it big dicks that attract crazy women, or is it that big dicks make women crazy? I'm not taking accountability for that shit. Okay, that's on you. Okay, control your shit. Practice a little self-awareness. Look in the mirror. Go, am I being a fucking nut? You know, it's not that difficult. You know what I mean? Don't put that shit on me, you know, just because I was born with a certain appendage. Don't put that shit on anybody because they were born with a certain appendage. That is bullshit right there, and I don't want to hear it. Like, if you need to take fucking classes on how to handle a fucking big cock, then take classes. Take some sort of training course. That's not my problem. Figure it out. That is not my issue. Okay? That's where I draw the line when it comes to crazy women. Okay? That's not my fault. I mean, like, so, like, and then you just have these people who look. First off, let me just get into. I'm just going to get into. I'm going to get off that subject, and I'm going to get into. Because I'm going to get in trouble. And I'm going to get into Microdots' video that he was talking about. Caveman's been there and got the scars. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just some lady. Crazy is fun until court dates are set. Right. Yeah, great point. Great point. All right, let's get into this. I think this is it. I'm not sure. Well, we'll just get into his. Well, let's get into now. Make sure to sub to Microdots. You got to sub up to Microdots, folks, because Microdots is the tits, and you're going to see why in just a second.
The case law requires as true threats.
He writes blogs.
I'm an independent journalist.
Emails for speech.
He's calling me names.
A cop was murdered.
Case law is pretty clear. Speech is speech.
They are attempting to intimidate.
He called me once. He just had questions.
All right. All of that is speech, including nonverbal speech.
They don't care how it looks.
Calling my cell phone, calling my store phone.
They don't care about appearances. They're way past that.
Sticking up the middle finger to me. Even the middle finger is speech.
They know that people know that they did this.
Is there any way that you can do something so he can't blog about me?
And they don't care.
Only fighting words
wow.
or true threats may qualify as acts of harassment.
The people who murdered him, one of them was inside that house.
I have to apply the law. It requires fighting words or true threats of violence.
And that's not a threat.
He has a significant amount of followers.
People who follow him.
Yes.
But not him.
Correct.
You say that it's harassment.
They throw that term around a lot. They don't know what the hell it means.
Not on your property, but on your
On the
area.
street.
Okay. What you're telling me is essentially protected free speech under the First Amendment. I'm a First Amendment guy. He is a quote-unquote member of the press.
No, motherfucker, I don't lie.
And filming it? I'm not going to hurt you, Chris. I just want to ask you a few questions. He didn't, but he could have. So I would need to find the immediate danger of abuse as defined by the law.
He made T-shirts.
If you arrest me, it will be temporary.
Because of the free speech issues and his status in the press, I'm just not getting there.
If you charge me, it will be temporary.
I don't see. I'm sorry, I'm not going to deny your request.
So it's okay when they do it. It happens all the time. They want to get me. You don't scare me in the least. The First Amendment has been held up time and time again in the work that I do. I have the power of the pen. Witness intimidation is trying to prevent you from speaking out. I'm going to do something much worse than that. Much worse than that. I'm going to send you to jail. So just know that.
Hell yeah. Look at Microdot. Hold on, here we go. Here's another one. Hold on.
Можно мне вас поцеловать, товарищ Сталин? За все! За все, что вы сделали для нашего народа! Для нас!
Yo, talking about big dicks, bro. You know, Microdots' videos are just fucking like slamming the floor with big dick energy, bro. Like straight up, like his balls are dragging. Look at this shit, dude. My man just opens up with Stalin.
Then Russian state TV journalist Marina Ovsyannikova interrupted a live broadcast holding a sign.
What you did was amazing and brave, and that your acts were both so important.
It is very important in the circumstances to bring people alternative point of view and objective information. They were trying to discredit me in all possible ways.
You know why you don't ever see Microdots' camera shaking, bro? Because he's a fucking human tripod, people.
saying all sorts of lies about me. To spoil my reputation.
Hell yeah.
People like us, they need to be supported rather than put some obstructions.
Nothing that might even be taken as a sign of dissent is allowed in Russia right now.
He's a fantastic reporter. He's a real reporter's reporter who likes to be out there in the field, talking to people, talking to sources. Thank you,
His arrest
Mandolin
last
Win.
Thursday came as a shock because he's an accredited journalist. The Wall Street Journal say Evan Gershkovich is being held hostage.
It's ludicrous. I mean, Evan is a journalist, and it's just outrageous that while doing his job and simply reporting, he was arrested.
But in the end, this is less about the law and more about...
A huge vanguard composed of more than 20,000 People's Liberation Army men, militiamen, and Red Guards leads the parade. The Cultural Revolution Army, 1.5 million strong, is composed of workers, peasants, revolutionary intellectuals.
An alarming new report accuses authorities in China of stepping up their efforts to harass and intimidate foreign journalists.
Foreign TV crews have been at odds with authorities for decades. This footage of a CBS cameraman was shot in the 1990s. Hands-on harassment of journalists was common back then. And even though it's an issue again now, we usually deal with more subtle problems.
Often we have a story we want to tell involving corrupt officials or, more recently, possible protests.
This is a non-violent movement. We must be better than them.
An event that I believe under statute 268-13A could most possibly be deemed a criminal act.
We only want
Oh, shut up.
protesters here tomorrow. That's it.
But it's next to impossible.
These guys really don't want us to be reporting on this story today.
All right. How much is left of this?
Touch me again. Do you think it's okay what they did to John O'Keefe? Are you okay with that?
Okay, I'm gonna have to put this on pause for a minute. I'm sorry, Microdots. I'm going to check out Howie Carr. I'm gonna get Howie Carr on because I've never streamed the one with Sean on it. So let's do that real quick.
At checkout and receive 20% off your purchase. Or call 800-95-READY to speak with an actual person. That's ReadyWise.com.
Hi, this is Bobby Atenzio from Paul's Landscape Service and
Bobby.
Supplies. I'm a regular listener to the Howie Cash
Regular listener to the Howie Cash Show.
I was astonished by how much they were able to help me. Not only did they save me money, but they identified coverage I had but didn't need, and coverage that I needed but didn't have. They helped me, and I know that they can help you. Contact Dan or Paul at RizzoInsurance.com or by calling them at 800-267-6500. That's RizzoInsurance.com or call them at 800-267-6500.
You don't have to wait once a week for your favorite TV show to come on the air anymore. You just stream what you want when you want it on demand. The same rule applies to real estate. You don't have to list your property at a price and then start negotiating. You don't have to wait an unknown.
No, as I understand it, Turtle Boy is on at 4:30 and Sean is on now. So at least that's my understanding.
Evolve and people do things differently. The way to sell your real estate is changing too. JJ Manning uses their own.
But we're gonna hang out, guys. We're gonna hang out.
30 days of marketing and 30 days to.
I'm gonna stay on for Turtle Boy's appearance as well. I promise. We're gonna watch more Microdots and other stuff too.
Carr Show. The allies in this room not only share a common language, don't share a common language. We do
I really don't know what he said. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
All right, so if you guys don't know, Sean McDonough's about to join. If you guys don't know Sean McDonough, he's a former DEA agent and a friend, and very, very instrumental in the Free Karen Reed movement.
It is a reflection of our moment in our time. Right.
Like Sean's just awesome, and he's just awesome.
The silver-tongued orator finally run dry.
Oh yeah,
This wasn't George Clooney.
But what do you mean?
Hey, come over here. There's someone I want to introduce you to. 1997 George Clooney.
Wow, that's the coolest George Clooney there is.
This wasn't George Clooney.
Hi, George Clooney, second worst Batman.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. The big boy press conference is supposedly about 2.5 hours away. We'll see if it actually gets off at 6:30 or not. The Biden campaign is in turmoil. There are all sorts of stories from state-run media saying that aides are trying to get him to pull out at the White House. Campaign officials are saying there's no way he can win. This is what NBC News, again, state-run media, Democrat media, is saying. And I'm not convinced that this election's over.
I'm not sure that.
Still concerned
Is
about
Sean
what's
coming
gonna
on or
happen
what?
on November the 3rd, when the polling stations close and the counting begins. And we've been checking in over the last few months with Jay Valentine.
Hold on. If he's talking about politics, then we're gonna have to come back. But sorry, I got to jump in on this Batman debate here. You have to differentiate Batman from Bruce Wayne. So, like, Christian Bale had a great Bruce Wayne, really bad Batman. Ben Affleck, great Batman, horrible Bruce Wayne. So yeah, trust me, I'm the authority on these things. But George Clooney, yeah, second worst. We didn't need nipples on the bat suit. We did not need those. Let's see here.
That's not really what I meant, though. As you know, what's going on the campaign front?
Well, here's the situation that I think is alarming.
Okay, see, that's not
you're
Sean.
Watching polls.
All right, so somebody's gonna have to, like, I guess, is Sean gonna be on
With that, who are you?
later?
Please visit the homes or offices of our story subjects.
2 days after I published the interview with Lucky Loughran, they go and they sit down with Lucky Loughran. He plowed Fairview Road that night at 2:30. He did not see a body on that road.
Security here went to great lengths to frustrate coverage of the story. Just the tip of the iceberg, and conditions for journalists in the past year have gotten much worse.
They seem to see us not as, doing a legitimate job and questioning and being, questioning in a critical way. But they seem to think that if we're not towing the government line 100%, then therefore we are the enemy.
This is what happens when you act up, when you don't toe the line.
You feel more at risk because you always believe that it's not going to happen to you.
I didn't think they'd have the balls to do it. I knew they wanted to.
Okay, that can actually happen to anyone.
Journalist for Bloomberg News, Hayes Fan, was detained in December. No details have been provided on where she is or what she's been detained for.
Oh, I don't know if I'll be on that long. What is going on? Yeah, I'm going to get dinged for this for sure.
There are at least 159 journalists in prison around the world, a majority of them in the Middle East.
The murder trial of slain
No, Sean
Washington
today?
Post journalist
Okay.
Jamal Khashoggi is opening in Istanbul.
In a case that human rights groups say is an important step in the search for justice for the Washington Post columnist who was brutally killed.
Saudi's ever-evolving story about what really happened to Jamal Khashoggi changing yet again. There's been deception and lies.
For those who believe it's a cover-up,
many more questions remain.
Iran became the biggest jailer of journalists in the world.
The Committee to Protect Journalists, or CPJ, documented nearly 100 media arrests.
You see that I'm not even carrying a weapon, but they're scared of me.
Yep.
A blogger is facing charges that he harassed and intimidated witnesses who were interviewed about the death of a Boston police officer during a snowstorm.
We saw a real backlash against independent reporting, targeting of journalists who were actually reporting the truth on figures in their country or taking a critical approach to their governments.
This blogger is known for his confrontational style. As a criminal defense attorney, in court today, his defense attorney said he is a news reporter protected by the First Amendment.
I am in solidarity with Turtle Boy.
Witness intimidation.
Yeah, it's not jury tampering.
Oh, MLS. Making law simple.
Look at me, I've been unable to work.
I'm an investigative reporter.
I have to go to court to get my account unfreezed.
So I have 2 phones and a computer. I take all of that.
You don't know what's coming, and you want to do your work, you want to report.
I need those to work.
You can't do it.
Accompanied by one of the troopers, the detectives, that I have been criticizing, and 2 of the other troopers, detectives that I've been criticizing, are also with them.
It's always about silencing the target.
The fact that they're going to such lengths
You don't scare me.
to try and silence an investigative reporter.
Most people are not able or willing to take on these risks, these financial risks, these reputational risks.
And they will never shut me up. They will never, ever, ever stop me from reporting the truth.
When you see it in the whole context, it's not anything they're making it out to be.
It's not a threat, of any sort. What did he do? As opposed to what is he accused of doing, right? There's a big difference in that. It's a horrible statute.
This entire case is suspect.
You'll never scare me.
Bro. My God, this is amazing, dude. Yeah, so I mean, here, hold on. This is a long one, dude. Hi. So let's see if we can get Microdot up to 25K soon. He's only at 21. Let's try to get him at 25K. He should have way more than that. That's crazy. It's fucking crime is what it is. This dude isn't like blowing up right now.
We have a breaking news update. Blogger Aidan Kearny has made his first court appearance after being arrested on charges of witness intimidation.
He calls himself Turtle Boy, and he's trying to prove that the woman charged with her boyfriend's murder is innocent.
Kearny has been writing for months about the case and recording himself while confronting witnesses.
Prosecutors say he used his online platform to harass witnesses.
Now he's defending himself.
He's defiant and calls himself a victim.
He went too far, intimidating witnesses in the case.
A judge released him on personal recognizance and ordered him to stay away from the people he's accused of harassing. If he violates that condition,
either directly or indirectly,
he would be put in jail.
What he's doing and what other podcasts are doing are giving a voice to those that need a voice, and that's not a crime.
Damn right.
Listen to the sound of my
you've got someone who is saying there's a police conspiracy, and then he gets arrested. Witness intimidation. It's kind of unusual.
The police covered this up, and then he ends up arrested.
Listen to the sound of my big black boots. Listen to the sound of my big black boots. Listen to the sound of my big black boots.
I will not be separated. I will not be silenced, and we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen.
Listen to the sound.
The case that was so huge just got even bigger.
Oh, this video is just getting started, y'all. Like, this is a long video. Microdot's put some work into this. Make sure to subscribe to him. He's amazing.
I'm in position. I have the yellow target. We're doing a slow roll. As soon as he puts the kids on, we'll jump on him.
Yeah, I know. Like, I know I'm gonna get dinged for it, but it's so worth it. Like, I don't give a shit about ad revenue. So, like, I mean, Microdot's puts this music in here for a reason.
On October 11th,
you know,
2023,
like, I'm not gonna
District Attorney
chop it
Michael
up.
W. Morrissey shocked the region by ordering his harshest critic, outspoken journalist Aidan Kearny, widely known as Turtle Boy, to be arrested. The same mass state troopers he named as corrupt were the arresting officers.
The yellow target is landing. All units, stand by for orders. Go! We got him. Can we get crime scene up here, please? Get his phones, computers, tablets. Search the kids' rooms.
This shit takes me back to when I covered Colton Harris Moore. Like, there were some dope ass, like, independent documentary videos about him that people made.
In a courthouse intentionally pre-packed with Aidan's opposition as to not allow room for his supporters to enter, Special Prosecutor Ken Mello began to outline the charges. As thousands of Turtle Boy supporters were watching the courthouse Zoom feed, one member of the public communicated what we were all thinking rather poetically. After dedicating weeks to meticulous research on the arrest and the purported statement of facts levied against Aidan Kearny, by our estimation, it can be unequivocally asserted that the presented information is nothing short of total and utter bullshit.
It appears that in the past he has...
You'd be forgiven for mistaking this entire charade for a Monty Python sketch, which would be comical if not for a reporter's freedom at stake.
It appears that in the past he's encouraged his followers to take various actions with respect to witnesses in this matter. We're asking that there be no harassment of witnesses or their families, no intimidation of witnesses or their family members. We're asking that he not on his blogs or otherwise encourage his blog followers to photograph witnesses, their families, their homes, etc.
One of the tactics we see used over and over again by Ken Mello against Turtle Boy is he presents lies as fact.
Totally.
For example, Aidan has never instructed his audience to take photographs of witnesses in public or visit their homes to ask questions. However, even if he did, there is absolutely nothing illegal about taking pictures in public spaces, nor is knocking on doors in a residential neighborhood to ask a question. If it were, the Girl Scouts of America would be featured on America's Most Wanted. The notion that Aidan is responsible for a lawful action carried out by an entirely unknown individual with no direction from him is laughable and undermines the credibility of this judicial institution. A Freudian slip is an unintentional error in speech that reveals unconscious thoughts or feelings. And Ken Mello is about to reveal what's been dominating his thoughts as of late.
As Your Honor will hear from the evidence presented by the Commonwealth's argument, the defendant has shown up at sports games.
I'm sorry, Ken, but who has shown up at sports games?
Defendant
has shown up at sports games.
Did you say the Fed? Did you mean the defendant? It is a documented fact that an FBI investigation is currently underway in the Karen Reed case.
Oops.
The specific individuals under scrutiny remain uncertain. Nonetheless, a special prosecutor pressing baseless charges designed to suppress an independent journalist could be a likely target. In Ken's defense, I'd likely be having intrusive thoughts about federal officials too.
Attended or that were being engaged in by children of witnesses and has made scenes there using loudspeakers, etc.
This is a lie. Turtle Boy never employed a loudspeaker at any sports games. In fact, even using the plural sports games is a lie in itself. Aidan attended a single lacrosse game with a news cameraman to ask a witness a few questions. Turtle Boy's detractors often cite this event as him going too far, and it's anyone's right to hold that opinion. But remember, this is a legal setting. And even if a journalist following a story into the stands of a lacrosse game is something you yourself disagree with, it doesn't make it illegal. In fact, despite what you may have heard about the horror and fear of this interaction, it begins with this.
Hey, Matt, how you doing, pal? Good. How are you doing? How you doing?
Hey, tough guy.
Hey, Jen. How you doing? Fancy seeing you here.
She just walked past her husband. What a fucking
So how did
tool.
court go the other day?
Do you have a child on the team?
Do you?
Some things to notice. Aidan calmly approaches Matt with a warm greeting and a handshake. Then Matt reciprocates, saying, "Hey, tough guy, how you been?"
Hey, tough
Aidan
guy.
says to Jen, "Fancy seeing you."
I love
here."
a,
Jen responds, "I know."
Jameson
Aidan
water
then
with a
asks how the
splash of
court
crystal
go the other
light,
day,
please.
To which Matt answers, "Great." Jen and Matt are both smiling. and no one involved seems particularly intimidated.
Could you put
Jen
that
and
in
Matt
a
are
penis
entertaining
pump for me?
questions from Aidan,
Thank
which
you.
is a signal for him to continue. But none of the words exchanged between the McCabe's and Aidan are as important as what remains unsaid. At no point in the interaction do we hear Matt or Jen say anything resembling, "Please leave us alone." Later, we do have unknown third parties asking Aidan and Richie to please leave, but that's not the same as Matt or Jen saying it. Now is an opportune moment to underscore a crucial aspect of Aidan's character. He's well versed in the intricacies of the law and how it applies to his journalism. He certainly doesn't want to get arrested for going too far. What if he was specifically waiting for Jen or Matt to ask him to stop? That would have been a clear signal directly from the interviewee that no answers would be forthcoming.
Hold on. Sorry, guys. KPT says I'm out. First time on this channel.
Thank you for flying Claire Airlines. Thank you for announcing your departure, KPT.
Fuck your mother. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Get the fuck out!
Okay.
However, after closely reviewing the footage multiple times, that statement is nowhere to be found. Let's continue reviewing the tape together and see if we can pinpoint exactly when this became an illegal activity.
I do, so I'm trying to watch.
No, I'm at a public event, so I can do whatever I want. So anyway, Jen, I have a question. Did you think that you could outsmart Karen Reed? Did you?
Notice here that Aidan is standing at least 4 feet away from Jen. He's by no means in her face. And instead of saying no comment, or I'm scared, she chuckles through a large grin, which can be interpreted as her responding to his question, meaning she is willingly engaging in conversation.
Do you think that's funny? Do you think that's funny? How long to die in cold? What is this gentleman doing? Look at that deranged face.
Here, Matt appears to be the first and only person to get physical by pushing Aidan, which you can easily see here delights Jen. If she isn't finding this interaction enjoyable,
This is awesome.
her expressions and behavior certainly suggest otherwise.
Hey, Jen, are you worried about what's going to happen to your family when you go to jail?
Don't touch me.
Why are you shaking,
Touch
dude?
me again.
Why are you
Touch me
shaking?
again. Touch me again.
So, Jen, are you worried about what's going to happen when your kids go to jail?
So
Touch me again.
When you go to jail.
I gotta interrupt this just for a second because you guys are gonna love this. So I remember like the first time I had this very loose theory when I first started following this case, because I was trying to consider motive, right? Whenever I think of whenever I cover a true crime case, I'm always looking at motive. That's what you do, right? So I was looking at John O'Keefe and how he was killed, and I was already pretty much my whole thing was everyone was lying. Their statements, everyone was lying. This is pre-trial, and when I first started covering the case, and then I was trying to think of people who had motive, and I still stand by like the logic behind my motive. Logic behind my theory on motive, which was Matt McCabe, considering the fact that there was Jen McCabe was friends with John O'Keefe, supposedly that they had their kids have play dates together and whatnot. And I felt as though Matt McCabe didn't like this, and he was at the house. So I was like, ooh, that sounds like he might have some motive. And then the first time I had Turtle Boy on this channel, we talked about it. And I'm going to switch actually in a second to Howie Carr because he's about to come on. But so when I told Aidan about this on this channel, this was the first time we had a conversation, and we had it here. And it was live. It was funny because I tell him about this and he goes, nah, dude, like he totally shut it down. And his response to that was like, his reasoning for feeling that way was like, he was like, if you met Matt McCabe, he's like, if you met this guy, you would be like, no fucking way. And I was like, okay, all right, that's fair. I hadn't met him. He had. I had not seen this footage yet. I don't think I had. And then looking at this footage and then watching the guy testify in court was like, he was 100% right. There's no way this dude is squaring up against a dude like John O'Keefe. Like, there's just no way. It's insulting to Officer John O'Keefe's memory that this dude squared off against him and came out on top. There's no fucking way. This dude has no balls, bro. None. Like, he's a joke. Like, he's a joke. Like, there's nothing to take seriously about this guy at all. He's totally, yeah. He's dude. You guys watch, you know who he is, dude? You know who fucking Matt McCabe is, bro? You ever watch The Bear? Great fucking show, right? I'm totally engaged in this show now, right? If you've ever worked in a kitchen, like this show captures the stress of working in a kitchen like no other show captures the stress of any other situation ever. It's amazing. And if you know the show, there's the sister's husband. That's him, dude. That's him. That's now the only difference is the guy on the show is actually likable, but nobody gives this guy respect. Like, if the Alberts are if the Alberts are like the main character and his brother who killed himself and all these other, like, if the Alberts are those people, like, you know, this dude is the brother-in-law that like nobody fucking respects, nobody likes. When he shows up to a room, like, everybody is just like, oh, it's this fucking guy, you know? Yeah, if you have Hulu, it's on there. Like, watch the show. It's really good. I'm going to come back to this. We're going to go to Howie Carr now because Turtle Boy's about to be on there. And then I'm going to come back to this. We're going to watch the rest of this. Like Tom in Succession, exactly. Exactly. That too. That's a great example as well. No love, bro. No respect. Just married to the girl that everybody likes and they just accept them.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Someone from Connecticut says the only reason Wanda's fraud, this is the woman who's charged with spearheading the fraud in Bridgeport, was caught is because it was one Democrat committing fraud against a different Democrat in the primary. If it was against a Republican, it would never come to light. Wasn't that how you elected a Democrat governor a couple of cycles ago? It late counts in Bridgeport. Anyway, joining us now is Aidan Kearny, Turtle Boy. He was in court himself today on a couple of different cases. One was a restraining order in the district court, and in the morning, and then hearing in the felony case in the afternoon. Turtle Boy, what happened with your cases? First, I guess your more important one in the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, the afternoon one was, the big thing we filed is a Rule 17. We want this fake victim's phone. We want to see her communications with Tully, because in the police report from the night that I got arrested, it says right in there that she contacted Brian Tully and texted him and said, "I'm deleting all of our communications." Right. And then he wants to see my phone, which is the whole purpose. I was invited over there to look at her phone. Right. And she said she was apparently in the bathroom texting and calling Tully the whole time. She was on, it says in the police report that she's on the phone she calls Ken Mello, unbeknownst to me. She has the phone in her pocket, and Mello and Tully are listening in on our conversation.
Wow.
Wiretapping if you or I did it. But I guess when Brian Tully,
and they originally charged him with
also
that.
known as entrapment.
Yeah, that too. I mean, the whole thing was a setup, and that's why we want to see her phone. And they're saying, well, no, you can't look. This is a fishing expedition. It's not a fishing expedition because you already gave her large portions of the phone were received that you guys were doing this. And you wrote right in your
It's
police
his
report
property.
that she's deleting messages and she's telling you. And if I'm such a danger, if I'm such a threat, why doesn't this cop tell her, don't go in the apartment with him? This guy's really dangerous. He's such a threat to you. If they're so scared for this person, they're not. That was the whole point. But anyway, we were also, the bigger thing that we needed to discuss today was the bill of particulars, which basically all they've done is assemble a bunch of quotes that I had from, various shows and everything I've done on video. I've gone up to Jennifer McCabe at a lacrosse game. They brought that up today. And they started asking her questions about, why'd you Google how long to die in cold? And at the end, I call her a cop killer because, in my opinion, that's what she is. So you're allowed to have opinions in the United States of America and voice them to people. And by the way, we quoted, Radel quoted you today.
I know we're gonna have to pull that cut. I appreciate that. Tell him thank you very much. It's good.
Yeah. And Tim made a great point today. He got really passionate in defense of the First Amendment when he started pointing all the other journalists and saying, who's next? Kathy Curran last week went to Michael Proctor's house, went right up to his property and tried to ask him questions. And Elizabeth Proctor and Michael Proctor told him, get off our lawn. She wasn't on his lawn. I did the same thing on July 22nd when I went to his house and had a peaceful protest outside their house. Nobody went on the lawn. Nobody vandalized anything. And Tim's like, well, there was like 70 people with him.
Andrew Vickers has brain crabs, y'all, so just be patient with
Why
it.
is it a First Amendment? Why is it a felony witness intimidation when my client does it? When everyone else does it, it's just standard. It's exercising the First Amendment. So, yeah, because if they can do it to me, they can do it to anyone. Basically, they're like, you can have First Amendment rights until you challenge the wrong people.
Right.
Until you challenge people like the McAlberts, and then your First Amendment rights are basically put on hold for a bit.
So you've been trying to get discovery in the felony case, the afternoon case, since last month, and they haven't given you anything. Did they turn over anything today, or did they give you a schedule for when they're going to turn over? Did the judge ask them why they are defying his orders?
No, that's the thing is these prosecutors, these government hacks, they never get, have their feet held to the fire and are held responsible for meeting a deadline. Your kid misses his homework assignment. It's a couple of days late. It's going to be a 0, right? When these hacks just don't hand in discovery that's owed to them by a certain date, we'll just get it to us next time. And that's like the third time this has happened. It's like, we don't know what I'm charged with. We don't know with the bill of particulars. The bill of particulars, how that works is they've given us all these statements I've made, right? And then they copy and paste the statute, but they don't say, how does this violate the statute? And that's what Tim brought up today. Like, we don't know what he did that's illegal. We don't know, what exactly did he say was, was witness intimidation, right. And how was it
prosecution?
They have to explain that to you, and they're not doing anything like that because I don't think they know how it's witness intimidation.
And in the meantime, you're running up your legal expenses. Tim Bradel's getting billable hours every time he has to go into court to fight one of these things. And that nitwit special prosecutor, Tim Mello, is also running up billable hours to keep dragging his feet.
Well, Ken Mello has made $80,000 off of this, and he's
the special prosecutor. He's the special prosecutor of Turtle Boy. Think about that, Turtle Boy. You have a special prosecutor just like Donald J. Trump.
Also, Howard, there's a new prosecutor, Cosgrove, because apparently Mello's too sick to do his job. He's not too sick to try to indict me on new crimes on March 27th. He tried to indict Karen Reed on me and me on conspiracy to commit witness intimidation and couldn't get a grand jury to do it. But, he has not been in court. And now he's got this new guy, Cosgrove, a former judge, and that's costing the taxpayers money. So, all this is billable to the taxpayers. They don't care. They're just running up on the bill on, you and I. And because whatever, it's free money to them. They've never earned an honest dollar in their life. They don't know what it's like to have to actually earn money for a living. They're just sucking off the taxpayers. So, all of this is just because I went after the wrong people and they don't like it. And now I have to be put on bail and I have to be silenced. And that's the whole point of this.
What's Cosgrove's first name?
Robert.
Robert.
He's a hack judge. Yeah, who was I think he was in Bristol. I don't know what county he was in, but he was a Superior Court judge that's retired, probably double dipping now. Getting money as a special prosecutor and collecting his pension.
While we
so
talk, I'll see if I can get his pension for you here. I'm looking it up.
You gotta love Howie, dude.
I thought Lally put you to sleep. Wait till you hear this guy Cosgrove. Oh boy, this guy.
So
Oh
what's
my
going
God,
on? I thought
that
there
guy
was
was
going to be.
torture.
I thought there might be a fifth juror come out today and say that they voted for an acquittal of Karen Reed. That didn't happen though, apparently, right?
Not yet. I feel like it's only a matter of time, and we brought there's so much carryover, between the two cases. And I stressed to Tim, mention Proctor today. That's the one you got to mention, that my activism with Michael Proctor was completely validated, not by me, but by the state police themselves.
Yep.
Who suspended him. You should be protesting at Michael Proctor's house. You should be outraged about Michael Proctor. Everybody agrees with this, even the state police. And so
Absolutely.
we're going to knock these out one by one, I think, starting with the Proctors.
And so, there are two people, two of the McAlberts or their associates are charged with assault and battery on you, or any of these people that you're charged with that you're charged with intimidating, now charged with assault and battery on you, or are these different people?
Well, they said they were going to. Jill Daniels and Jim Ferris, ever since that incident a couple weeks ago at CF McCarthy's, we were told by Helena Rafferty that they were going to be charged with assault and battery. But it's been 17 days now, and there's been no charge. So we called the Canton Police today, and they told us that they're going to have a magistrate's hearing, a clerk's magistrate's hearing. But that's for probable cause. There is probable cause. There's no need for a magistrate. I didn't get a magistrate's hearing when they charged me with witness intimidation or when they charged me with violating an order because I was at a courthouse and this crazy woman came within 100 yards of me, incidentally. And, that's immediate. That's immediate charge. With me, I have to go to a magistrate's hearing. We have to prove probable cause. No one else has to do that.
So do you think they're going to, is the hearing still on for the status hearing for Karen Reed with Auntie Bev on July 22nd, or are they going to move it up a little bit considering all of these jurors stepping forward?
I haven't heard about it moving up. I mean, she'll probably just try to go full steam ahead. I don't know why they're not filing something to, I know they filed the motion to dismiss, but you got to get in there and you got to poll these jurors and you got to, again, I'm not telling them how to do their job. They know how to do it better than I would, but I would get these jurors in there immediately and get them on record, because the juror number 4 was the most adamant that she was acquitted. We got on that bus and we were like, what the hell just happened? We just acquitted a woman of murder and they hung the jury. What's going on here? So they got to get these people on the record. How can you not? How can you? This is an emergency. If this woman was actually acquitted of murder and they're still pressing forward with this, this is an outrage. Any decent, honest politician or judge would be immediately stopping everything they're doing and figuring this out. But this is Norfolk County, and Auntie Bev just doesn't seem that bothered by it.
Has Morrissey, the district attorney, issued a statement about these motions involving these 4 jurors yet? I mean, this is unprecedented. I know that's an overused word, but I think it's unprecedented.
It is unprecedented. A lot of things are unprecedented in Norfolk County. Putting people in jail for asking questions to witnesses in a case and calling it witness intimidation is unprecedented. But no, I've never heard of this happening before. A normal district attorney would get ahead of it and have some sort of statement or explanation. But again, this is Norfolk County, and I guess they're just going to ignore it and not respond to it. I mean, they have to be worried a little bit, right? If you were the district attorney, you have to be worried that oh crap, I hope these people don't go on record, because then they're in serious trouble. What are they going to do then?
They're going to blame it on Auntie Bev. That's what they're going to do. You know that, right?
Or the juror. They'll blame it on the juror. They can say, oh, why didn't you put it in the note then? And I don't know who to blame. I blame a lot of people for this. I can't believe it's possible to, none of them ask, hey, I have a question, Mrs. Judge. What do we do if we've decided she's not guilty of murder? Can we tell you that? Maybe we should mention that. I don't know how they didn't at least ask about that. I don't know how she didn't inquire about it. And I don't know how the defense didn't demand that they clarify this.
Yeah, it's really something. I don't like you say, we're in uncharted waters here with this entire case. So what are the next steps? You're done for a while in court, right? And the hearing is still coming up for Karen Reed on July 22nd, right?
Yeah, so we'll be out there protesting. There's no buffer zone anymore. I heard they're going to try to schedule a new trial date on that date. We'll see if that ends up happening, but we'll be there in full force, and we're not going anywhere. We ain't got no quit.
One other thing, wasn't it something that they waited until after the trial was over before they announced that Kevin Albert had been suspended?
Yeah, he's been suspended a month.
Yeah.
But yet they wait until the select board meeting to let people know that he's been. I mean, they suspended him the next day. To their credit, they did the right thing. How can you have this guy on after
Did
all
they
that
though?
information comes? I mean, he admits it all in the text messages. Like, this is his second hand. He's like, I left my gun and my badge in your car while you were joyriding on Cape Cod. Like,
with a cold case.
You can't. There's no coming back. Yeah, there's no coming back from that one. So, yeah, I mean, how about the fact that Proctor wasn't suspended until the trial was over? Like you would just decided to wait until as soon as the trial's over, you're going to suspend this guy? Why? Because they know how it would look if he was suspended during the trial. But these jurors are likely going home. They're consuming content on this. If they played by the rules before, if they really weren't watching anything, that's over now. So I would assume they're learning a lot, and I hope that the more they learn about this, the more outraged they get, and more of them start coming forward.
Someone says, does a jury have to be unanimous on all counts? Well, no, they don't have to be, because they obviously weren't unanimous on all counts. They were. It was a split. It was a split decision, and Judge Auntie Bev just decided to throw everything out. I guess I can't. So I'm having a problem with the Mass Comptroller site today. I haven't been able to get through on the retirement benefits for a couple of days, but I'll keep looking. Robert Cosgrove is the judge.
Cosgrove, yeah.
Cosgrove, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep looking, Turtle Boy. I'll let you know if I find anything. There's someone will have that information.
You gotta love Howie,
retired
man.
judge. So he's a double dipper. That's Norfolk County too for you. Double dipper.
He's
Thank
a
you,
double
Turtle
dipper.
Boy. Where can people check up on what you're up to?
At Dr. Turtle Boy on Twitter, or tvdailynews.com, or the Turtle Boy Live YouTube show.
All right. Thank you, Aidan Kearny, Turtle Boy. You don't have to wait once a week for your favorite TV show.
There you have it, folks. There you have it. Let's continue with the Microdots video here.
I apologize to your children.
Aidan misspeaks, and upon realizing it, issues an apology to the children. And although Matt seems to be the one invading Aidan's personal space, Matt implies something will happen if Aidan touches him again. It's crucial to highlight the significant size differential between Aidan and Matt. Aidan, standing at 5'8.5" with a medium athletic build, is notably smaller in comparison, whereas Matt appears substantially larger, almost like a giant standing beside him.
Are you worried at all about that? Huh? What's going on here?
Oh, you're so fast.
Oh, what are we doing?
I was so sure you were.
Jen, did you think that you could outsmart Karen Reed? Yes or no? Did you? Why did you?
We see here that despite a barrage of insults and taunting from Matt, Aidan continues to seek answers to the questions he has about the Karen Reed case. The McCabe's still showing no signs of fear, and it seems Matt is the only source of intimidation directed towards Aidan. However, most surprisingly, is there still no vocalized request to end the interview from Matt or Jen. If only we had a neutral third party to serve as witnesses who could tell us if, by their perception, Aidan was out of control. These two Billerica Field officials, completely unaware of the Karen Reed case and unfamiliar with Turtle Boy or the McCabe's, arrived to the scene after being summoned by a Canton parent.
They think Richie is Turtle Boy.
Oh boy, here we go.
See, they're blocking it. Like, no, dude, it's me. It's actually me.
I'm about 5'8 3/4. How much do you weigh?
You're very thin. Yeah, you look sharp the other day in court. You look great.
They are entirely unaware that Aidan is the individual they've been instructed to remove, instead singling out Richie, who, incidentally, rarely speaks unless spoken to as the apparent source of the disruption. From their actions, it can be deduced that Aidan's behavior gave the impression that he himself was a member of the McCabe party and did not pose a hostile threat. Richie leaves the area once directly asked by the officials and waits for Aidan at field level. Matt seems to be more relaxed now, and Aidan's banter with him could be characterized as light-hearted teasing. Claiming this is harassment or intimidation, as Ken Mello has done in open court in front of a judge, would be factually incorrect and intentionally misleading. These two frames extracted from Aidan's video during the peak of the interaction clearly reveal that none of the other spectators present at the game appeared to take notice of the incident. This dispels any misinformation suggesting that the game was disrupted or that a scene was created.
A quick word from our sponsor, folks. Monster Energy Drinks. No sugar? Could have fooled me. Hey!
After a few more minutes of speaking with the Billerica Field officials who had no idea what this was all about, Aidan himself ends the interview and leaves.
Okay, we'll give it a wrap, but I just thought I'd stop by and have a great night. We'll see you soon, Jen. How long to die in cold? Maybe you can answer that question for me. We'll find out later.
Let us remind you that Jen had applied for a restraining order against Aidan just a week prior and was denied.
Denied!
His response.
But I need to find, by a preponderance of the evidence, a substantial likelihood of the immediate danger of abuse as defined by the law. Because of the free speech issues and his status in the press, I'm just not getting there.
It appears likely that the prosecution chose to silence Aidan by consolidating all his legal activities under the guise of witness intimidation, then amplifying them through out-of-context excerpts and outright falsehoods. However, for any of Aidan's actions to qualify as felony witness intimidation in Massachusetts, 3 factors are required. 1, that the defendant, either directly or indirectly, made a threat or attempted to coerce another person. With the exception of Matt daring Aidan to touch him again, we heard no threats or coercion from either party. 2, the other person was a witness, juror, or law enforcement official at any stage of a criminal investigation, trial, or other criminal proceeding. Since the McCabes are witnesses in the Karen Reed case, this factor is met. 3, the defendant did so willfully with the specific intent to impede, obstruct, delay, harm, punish, or otherwise interfere with the criminal proceeding. After seeing for yourself, did you get the impression Aidan intended to intimidate the McCabes to dissuade them from testifying, or from providing truthful testimony in the upcoming Karen Reed trial? If you answered no, then it's simply not witness intimidation.
I
And
answered
let us plant a flag here regarding specific intent. We'll come back to unpack that shortly.
For 1977,
held the employee at gunpoint while
Hold up to 650 pounds of pizza, with or without pepperoni.
The FBI. I should be authorized to be here.
Enter the Dragon. Staying alive. Frank Stallone singing.
It's worth reviewing a few aspects of this unprecedented statement by Norfolk DA Michael Morrissey, which took place on August 25th, 2023. The lacrosse game, rolling rally, and other protests had already taken place by this point. It's filled with provably false statements and bias against Karen Reed as a defendant, including some easily rebutted assertions about the people and events that transpired the night John was murdered. He scolds the general public for drawing definitive conclusions about the case before trial. However, what's most ironic is that the district attorney seems to be completely unaware of the fact that this is exactly what he himself is doing. By making one-sided comments about a case when, as a matter of ethics, he should not. But again, what's most interesting is what he doesn't say. Let's listen carefully to the district attorney's next statement.
To have them accused of murder is outrageous. To have them harassed
outrageous.
and intimidated based on false narratives and accusations is wrong.
To have them accused of murder is outrageous, and to have them harassed based on what he perceives as
It needs to stop.
false narratives is wrong. But he doesn't say anything that's happened up until this point has broken the law. If the rolling rally was so clearly a demonstration of widespread felony witness intimidation involving literally hundreds of suspects, does he not have a responsibility to communicate that to the public? We learned from the charging documents against Aidan that cameras were placed in several of the locations where the protest was scheduled to occur. We also know that the Canton PD and the Mars State Police had absolutely no visible presence at any of those locations on that day. Just how concerned
diabetes.
with the safety of the witnesses and their neighbors could they have been, when they seemed far more interested in using them as bait to gather video evidence against Aidan? Moreover, if merely urging someone to speak truthfully becomes a punishable offense, then the simple act of placing a witness under oath and telling them to tell nothing but the truth must also be equally placed in that category.
Yeah.
Any Catholic priests taking confessional, who are caught saying the truth will set you free, are also vulnerable to being charged and may have a brand new scandal to deal with.
They are witnesses doing what our justice system asks of them.
Yes, they are. And all that's been asked of them by Turtle Boy or anyone else has been for them to be honest, which doesn't meet the criteria to be classified as witness intimidation, because it doesn't carry with it the malicious specific intent to interfere with legal proceedings.
It needs to stop.
Perhaps the biggest issue looming over the Commonwealth is their complete lack of credibility, which is perfectly demonstrated in the next statement.
In addition to having no opportunity to plant the evidence, as has been suggested, Proctor would have no motive to do so. Trooper Proctor had no close personal relationship with any of the parties involved in the investigation and had no conflict.
Oops.
And he had no reason to step out of this investigation. Every suggestion to the contrary is a lie.
You're lying. Here the DA is suggesting Trooper Proctor had no motive because he had no close personal relationship with any of the parties. But it's been well established through Turtle Boy's reporting that the Alberts are like a second family to the Proctors.
Oops.
Therefore, according to the DA's logic, the motive for a cover-up does in fact exist.
Totally.
At the cost of their own credibility, the Commonwealth simply refuses to acknowledge the close personal relationship between the lead investigator and the family at the center of this case. If he so vehemently denies such an obvious fact, how can we trust any of his accusations against Turtle Boy? Morrissey's statement was widely criticized for its possible ethics violations, for he seemed to be trying to convince the public that there is no reason to think the defendant is anything but guilty. A man who's been serving in official government positions since 1977 really should know better than to presume a defendant is guilty before she receives her day in court.
You know, I never get sick of that dance scene. Shit is dope.
So when the top law enforcement official in the county is commenting on the peaceful protests occurring in this case and has the perfect opportunity to make everyone aware that what they're doing is illegal, what words does he choose to end with?
But the message is the same. What is happening to these innocent people, these witnesses, is wrong and it needs to stop.
A reasonable person's takeaway from Michael Morrissey's full statement is this: he doesn't like it or agree with it, which is his opinion. He doesn't want it to continue. But there's no indication that by continuing to exercise one's constitutional right to protest, they are breaking the law.
I'm not going to kick your ass. I don't need to do that. I'm more dangerous with my words because I'm so good at finding evidence and exposing people. And that's not a threat. It's a beautiful day for some peaceful protesting.
We're not hurt anybody. We're not violent like that.
We keep things peaceful. We're here to peacefully protest. I'm a award-winning journalist. I can come to your home and ask you questions. Like, that's what the media does. Be above them. Be better than them. That's not a threat. It's investigative journalism we're doing here, folks.
I mean, you guys
parking lot. I'm like, look, be respectful. You got to peaceful no matter
peaceful.
what they say. Stay respectful. We are peacefully protesting.
We're going to be protesting
protesting peacefully outside of his house.
You got to be the bigger person, always.
We're here to peacefully protest.
No matter what they say, I'm not going to kick your ass. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to do any of that stuff.
So we are peacefully protesting.
Try to stay off people's property. There'll be no rioting, no looting, nothing like that. This is a peaceful protest.
We're here to peacefully protest. We're going to be respectful of it. We're not going to trespass. We're not going to step on their property. The harassment of witnesses is baseless. We're not harassing any witnesses.
That's just the Kearny key.
So what we're going to do now, if you want to peacefully protest, you should be peaceful about it. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And that's not a threat. I'm an award-winning journalist. I'm just there to ask some questions. You have a right to do that. The other side is going to try to instigate and bring people there with the intention of provoking an incident. They want our side to seem unhinged and violent.
This has been declared an unlawful assembly. All persons must immediately leave the area by traveling to the west.
You cannot control yourself. If you cannot control your temper, then don't come tomorrow. You're not welcome.
I'm not quite sure listening I don't want to bother innocent people.
I don't want any tough guys there tomorrow. We must be better than that. The most effective way to affect public opinion in the face of evil is to not respond with more evil.
Threatening anyone. None of you is a threat. No one here is laying a finger on anyone. Yet they're treating you like animals.
An event that I believe, under statute
Boo.
13A, could most possibly be deemed a criminal act.
Oh, shut up.
Nothing is stopping you from coming forward and telling the police what happened. You can avoid jail and doing that, but you're gonna have to talk. It's not an option to remain silent. You might as well tell the truth, let the world know what happened. Nothing is stopping you from telling the truth, from saving yourself. You know what happened that night. You know why John's body was on that lawn. You know why he has that huge laceration in the back of his head. You know that he was bleeding out.
You can't play YouTube videos in court? Why not? I mean, if it's evidence, it's evidence. Who cares if it's on YouTube? Even better if it's on YouTube.
Without including the allegation of witness intimidation, none of the claims listed in the charging documents are by themselves unlawful. Now, we will shift our focus to a singular, overarching truth that exonerates Aidan and renders that allegation baseless as well.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's like, what? There's so much evidence.
We will propose that Turtle Boy simply never committed witness intimidation. In order to assert that argument, we first need to demonstrate what real witness intimidation entails. The following is a fictional yet plausible scenario that has been crafted specifically for this illustrative purpose. The star witness is the store clerk, who was able to identify the defendant as a former employee by recognizing a small scar above his left eye. The apprehension of the defendant, who possesses an extensive criminal record, occurred at his home 2 days after the robbery. The other two men were never caught. The three got back into a stolen vehicle, and a police chase ensued. The assailants escaped by driving directly into the pursuing police car. 5 days after the arrest, the defendant's father shows up at the home of the store clerk.
Oops.
He became aggressive, threatening to assault the witness on the day of the trial if they showed up to testify against his son. Although the spectrum is wide and vague, all credible instances of witness intimidation adhere to the following consistent pattern. A witness is prepared to testify against a defendant, contributing to the pursuit of truth and justice. Subsequently, a third party, often a friend or relative of the defendant, tries to interfere with malicious intent, specifically to obstruct justice.
Yeah, you guys got to understand, like a lot of you guys don't know, but Microdots was actually on Karen Reed's defense team for providing a video presentation of evidence, putting together, editing, and putting it all together. But I guess for whatever reason they didn't allow it, and that's what Microdots was talking about. But now when you saw the graphic of 34 Fairview Road, that was created by Microdots in court during the trial. But there was a lot of stuff that Microdots had put together for the defense that for some reason Anti-Bev would not allow the defense to use. So if you guys want to know like how instrumental Microdots actually is in this movement, that should give you at least some idea.
However, in Aidan's case, you have the 8 witnesses, none of whom even saw Karen commit a crime, who are prepared to testify at the Reed trial. And then you have Aidan, who Karen Reed was unknown to before his reporting on the story, and whose public message in parallel to the trial is for all parties to testify truthfully about what they experienced that night. Meaning he has no malicious, specific intent to obstruct justice. And that can mean only one thing. Aidan Kearny never committed the crime of witness intimidation. None of the words he's spoken or articles he's written ever carried with them the intent to purposefully subvert the justice system through intimidation or coercion of a witness. The entire case against him appears to be a complete fabrication, orchestrated by prosecutors desperate to silence the journalist exposing their purported misconduct and alleged cover-up of the murder of a Boston police officer.
Katie, are you okay?
Come on, go! Where do I go? With WCCO! I'm fresh! I am fresh!
So, like, dude, an amazing shit Microdots, you are fantastic, my friend. Now, so before I forget, there was actually also, as I understand it, a civil hearing involving the Sandra Birchmore case today at 2:30. It took place. I have not looked into that. See if I can find anything on that. There's nothing in the news about it, which really bothers me. But that also kind of tells me that nothing probably really happened today. Oh, the Attorney General. Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's tomorrow. So I will probably go over that. Now I still have a lot to learn on that case, so please bear with me on that. But it's something that I'm very interested in. And if the goal here is to expose the corruption in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, well, you can't really do that without talking about the Sandra Birchmore case as well. So I'm going to, I'm probably, if I can stream that tomorrow, I will. I'll get with Cherry on that and try to work that out. Because I do plan on just doing a probe into the Sandra Birchmore case. And I will have I'm going to schedule a special guest to join me in regards to that and the connection to the Karen Reed case as well. Eventually, that's absolutely my plan. But I as far as Turtle Boy's case goes, I really suggest that people, because I find it really interesting. I find it very interesting that mainstream media will talk about Turtle Boy's case, but let me give them the benefit of the doubt here. Let's see what kind of this is. This was from this morning after the first hearing. So
Blogger known as Turtle Boy back in court today in two separate cases. And as WBZ's Penny Commit shows us, Karen Reed supporters are showing up for him as well.
Aidan Kearny, the blogger known as Turtle Boy, made his first court appearance this morning in Dedham District Court.
That's frustrating to me because it's like, dude, you know, they have been. The Karen Reed supporters have been showing up to Turtle Boy's hearings consistently. Not as many, but make no mistake about that. And the reason why there's not as many is your fault, mainstream media. It's your fault. That's why. Because the fact is, and I'm going to say it again, I've said it many times, I'm going to say it many times over. In the near future, I'm going to point out the fact that you cannot properly tell the Karen Reed story in regards to her case without including the Turtle Boy story. You can't do it. You can't do it properly. It can't be done. So it's really important that this gets told. And mainstream media, I'm telling you, there's going to be independent. I promise you that at some point there's going to be independent coverage of both cases, and mainstream media is going to look like assholes when this happens. because they're like, it's weird what they're doing. I don't understand it.
Court. And in just a few hours, he'll be back across the street inside of Norfolk Superior Court. A busy day for Aidan Kearny, the man behind the popular online blog Turtle Boy Daily News. He started in Dedham District Court, the courtroom filled with several familiar faces, his passionate supporters we saw just a few weeks ago protesting during the Karen Reed trial, a case that greatly expanded Kearny's popularity as the proclaimed leader of the Free Karen Reed movement. We're here for you, Turtle Boy. Kearny was in court today after supposedly violating a restraining order placed on him after an alleged domestic dispute with an...
You see what I'm talking about? It's the language, and it's the things that they pick and choose to you know, to point out, to put out there, right? Turtle Boy, the proclaimed leader of the Karen Reed movement. No. You need to be a little bit more specific. Those people support Turtle Boy because he provided the awareness initially into Karen Reed's innocence. He uncovered evidence. He challenged those people who sat there and lied on the stand to tell the truth long before the trial even started. This is the stuff that mainstream media need in order to be responsible and report responsibly. They need to point out. And I find it odd that they don't do that. That instead they say things like the proclaimed leader of the Karen Reed movement, which implies that it's just some weird fucking cult that just like, oh, you know, Turtle Boy just decided to make his mouth real loud and say free Karen Reed, and that's all he did. But instead of, you know, they don't acknowledge the work that he put into earning the position as a leader in the Karen Reed movement, because there are many leaders in the Karen Reed movement. I do not consider myself to be one of them, but there is Scott McGinnis, there is Rita Lombardi, there is because the people that are standing out there every single fucking day, man, you know, those are leaders in the Karen Reed movement. You have Scott, Rita, you have Dana, you have Paul, you have Tom CPU, you have Dina, absolutely, you have Microdots, all leaders in the Karen Reed movement. Like this is a joint effort amongst those locals there, dude. This is what pisses me off. There's a joint effort. People are putting in tons of work into this, into creating awareness in the way that they know how. Tracy, yes. Thank you, Microdots. I appreciate that. Yes. I mean, all of these people are instrumental in concert. All of these local people there. You have and I'm talking about Mazza Media. I'm talking about Mike from Young Jerks. All of these people who live there locally and live under this umbrella of corruption, who are standing up and using their voices. These are all absolutely leaders in this. You know, I mean, this is not Jen Machado. Of course, how could I forget how can I forget the Fall River News? How can I forget that? Jessica Machado, actually, not Jen Machado, Jessica Machado. I mean, she's been amazing. Yes, thank you. I caught myself. I caught that and I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. Jen Machado is not right. It's Jessica. So thank you guys. LTL as well. Everyone who's out there, Nick Rocco, everyone who's out there, Jenna Rocco, everyone who's out there and lives under this umbrella of corruption, man. Like these people have balls of fucking steel standing out there, showing their faces, putting themselves in harm's way, because every single person, I mean, these people are targets. If these people are subject to threats, they're subject to doxing, but they're putting their faces out there, their names are known, and they're not even jarred enough to fucking not talk and not speak their minds. That is incredibly, incredibly brave. They are not folding to intimidation. And this intimidation is absolutely happening. Make no mistake about it. This intimidation is absolutely happening. Jen O'Donnell as well. Seeing her on fire. Oh, look, right there. See, Microdot's read my mind. I mean, we watched her get ejected from a town meeting because she was silenced. Well, Scott McGinnis, sorry, buddy, but that's leadership. You're setting an example. You're leading by example. That is leadership. People see you out there every day, no matter what, and it inspires them to come out there. It inspires them to show up the next day too. That's not to be minimized, my friend. Not at all. I'm telling you, man, like seeing these people in person and meeting them in person, they are just the coolest people. These are just good, decent people who are sick of living in fear by their government, by their local government. They are sick of living in fear by their local government. This is an incredible, incredible time right now. And it's a beautiful thing because, you know, we're seeing how scared they are. Make no mistake, Helena Rafferty having the select board make this announcement and say that she was the one who made the decision to put Kevin Albert on administrative leave and wanting to take credit for that. That's a publicity move, dude. Because she's scared. She's afraid for her job and she's afraid of indictments. That's my man right here, bro. I met this guy in at the waterfall when I went to Boston and had a beautiful conversation with this gentleman, and he's an awesome, awesome, awesome dude. Rita called him the real mayor of Canton. That's how she introduced him to me. Rita introduced this gentleman to me and was like, this is the real mayor of Canton right here. I met amazing people there. Amazing people. And these are Americans to their core, like the example of Americans. Doesn't matter what their personal lives are like. Doesn't matter what their past is like. It's the fact of the matter is these people can vote and they are standing up against this shit, that they are to be respected and they are to be looked at as examples of Americans. True, red-blooded, wonderful Americans. Because they are exercising their First Amendment right in an effort to fight for your First Amendment right. And I just don't understand why these mainstream media people won't just like give him the credit. Like, again, like look at the title of this, Blogger Turtle Boy in Court. Like, okay. Come on.
With an ex-girlfriend in 2023. The blogger's attorney says he was handed a folder of evidence this morning, including screenshots from a video. The Commonwealth agreed to find the
award-winning journalist. At least say independent journalist. Can't you just do that? Like, why does it hurt so bad for mainstream media to just call him an independent journalist? Why? Because you didn't fucking uncover the shit? Because you didn't have the balls to confront the people that he confronted? You didn't have the balls to face charges? Stop it.
Original file, and the case was continued until next month.
It's screenshots of a video, so by definition, there's a lot more to be looked at, and we're eager to get that. And the Commonwealth has agreed to, try to get that together for us. At no point did we interact. At no point did I even see her afterwards. She didn't even call the police till 5 hours later.
Kearny's slew of supporters showed up with signs and cheered the blogger on as he left the courthouse.
I dedicated myself to come for the Karen Reed trial, and I think that Aidan needs all the support he can get. So that's why we're all out here.
And at one point, someone showed up from the other side, but wouldn't share their thoughts with us. Is there anything you would like to say about why you came out here?
No, the news
Do you
sucks.
want to spread your message?
The news, them.
Okay. This is. And Kearny will be back in district court for these charges.
Hey, trolls. Looking good. Looking good. I mean, dude, seriously, top notch fucking. Absolutely, just looking fantastic. Let's watch that guy one more time.
Support he can get. So that's why we're all out here.
And at one point, someone showed up from the other side, but wouldn't share their thoughts with us. Is there anything you would like to say about why you came out here?
No, the news
Do you
sucks.
want to spread your message?
The news, them.
Okay. And Kearny will be back in district court for these charges on August 20th.
Fuck the nose. Fuck you. Fucking, I'm going to Duncan.
22nd, his supporters say that they'll stand by Turtle Boy every step of the way. In Dedham, I'm Penny Commit, WBZ News.
Uh-huh. It was incredible, dude. People fucking kill me with this bullshit. Hold on, here's another one. No, that one's only like 25 seconds long. But I mean, like, that's it. You know? Like, that's it. They don't. Like, mainstream media has just become tabloid bullshit. It's so pathetic. I haven't gone over these yet. Let's go over these real quick.
Chief Rafferty has placed Kevin Albert on paid administrative leave while an outside please be quiet. While an outside independent.
We have some developing news tonight. You just heard there. The Canton Police Department placed Detective Kevin Albert on paid administrative leave. The announcement came during the Canton Select Board meeting this evening. An independent probe is underway into his behavior while investigating a case with Michael Proctor 2 years ago. Also tonight, Kevin's brother, Chris Albert, who serves on the board, apologized for his recent verbal altercations that were in the public eye.
I did go over this.
NBC 10's Erin Logan. She
Never
was
mind.
at tonight's meeting that was very contentious. She's
Okay, yeah, I went over that yesterday. Yeah, we went over Chris Albert's behavior, which is caught on video, but of course the news didn't go over that. You know, the news isn't going to go over something like, you know, a select board member threatening somebody when there's video footage of it and it's very public. News isn't going to go over that. Right. Okay. But that one dude, they covered that. They covered fucking Mr. Canton. Fuck you. Fuck the nose. Unreal. Yeah, I know. And see, the thing is, man, I still stand by my statement. It's a step forward because it shows that they're scared. Chief Rafferty is scared. Chief Rafferty, it's just a matter of time before they find out that Chief Rafferty is on, before it becomes very public that Chief Rafferty is on that video of the Sally Port. Like, dude, this is not. I mean, these people have never been scared of the people of Canton. These people have never been scared of the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. They've never represented the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, at least not with any integrity. They've represented themselves. And that's what all this is. These apologies, it's bullshit. Because right now they are desperate, and I mean desperate, for public approval because the feds are coming. That is going to happen. K-Man, thank you so much. Guy looked like Mr. Potato. Yeah, he did. The feds are absolutely coming. This is what this is. They want public approval because when this becomes very public, and then when Josh Levy stands there with a bunch of news cameras and a bunch of fucking just cameras clicking and clicking and clicking, and he's standing with a bunch of microphones right in front of him, in front of a podium, and he's talking about indictments that he's handing out like candy, from Michael Morrissey to Tully on down, and people in the Massachusetts State Police, people in the Canton Police Department. This shit is going to happen. No, I don't trust the feds, but do I trust them to do this job? Yes, I do. I have to. I have no. This is one of the few times that you're ever going to see me cheer for the feds. This is one of those few times that you're going to see me look at, like, when I hear this sound, it's going to sound like music to my ears, bro. That's the only time, and the only occasion that I can think of. Colleen R., thank you so much. I watch you every day. I always look forward to it. Oh, thank you so much. That means the world to me. Really does. I am really, really, really looking forward to when this happens. And I promise you, I guarantee you, I think it was somebody who pointed out, I think it was Sean maybe, pointed out that and I love that, because I know that I said this at some point months and months ago, that I would not be surprised if, and it seems to be that way. It kind of seems like it's looking that way, that what got the feds' attention was how the Sandra Birchmore case was handled. And if you take that timeline and the people who were involved in the investigation into Sandra Birchmore's death, and then apply that stuff to the Karen Reed case and apply that stuff to Turtle Boy's case, you're going to see some shit. You're going to see some shit. And it all boils down to corruption in Norfolk County. It all boils down to corruption. And when I'm seeing the governor of Massachusetts support the Massachusetts State Police and only condemn Michael Proctor, that's not a good look for the entire state of Massachusetts, is it? It's really not. Because, I mean, the fact of the matter is the Massachusetts State Police are just as accountable, if not more, than Michael Proctor himself. Because he had superiors that he was texting with. If those text messages are a problem, then why is there not more reprimands coming from coming down from up top in the Massachusetts State Police? Why isn't Tully being implicated? Microdots, thank you so much, buddy. Glare, you are a true patriot. I love hanging out in here with you and your chat. So funny. Dude, I love you being in here, dude. Seriously. And thanks for being cool about me streaming your videos, man, because I think everyone needs to see that. So when I got a big bunch of people in here and it pertains to the stuff that we're talking about, nobody tells a story better than you. And so I'm grateful to you for letting me play that stuff and being in here and supporting. You're amazing, dude. Seriously. But yeah, I mean, I can't. I'm looking at this in the grand scheme of things, the big picture, folks. And the real problem here is corruption. This is what everyone's. When Court TV dismisses these supporters of Karen Reed as cult members or pink people and Karen Readers, shit like that. I mean, it's just really irritating because these people are out there supporting Karen Reed, but they're doing it in protest of the corruption as to why she's even on trial in the first place. These people are protesting the corruption that brought Karen Reed into that courtroom. Make no mistake about that. Brass, thank you so much. Speaking of Sandra, there is a hearing tomorrow at 11:30. After state attorney general forgot to show today, her Facebook justice page has Zoom info. Thank you so much. I will. I'll get that somehow. I'm not on Facebook, but I'll get that somehow. Yeah, I plan on going over that. Because because I need to educate myself more on the Sandra Birchmore case, but I know enough to know that it's very connected to the Karen Reed case, most definitely. So I am, that's going to be my next deep dive, most definitely. And I don't mean that in the what do you call it? Sorry, I got distracted. I just got a message here. I don't mean that in the Bill Cannon kind of way. That's what I meant to say. Hold on a second. Let me check this because hold on. I don't want to mess this up. Oh, okay. Why can't I go to my other account here and check that? That's really annoying. Hold on a second. Guys, give me 1 second here. Yeah. Yes, and I almost forgot to mention this. I will be a guest on Hard Rock Life. It is a podcast. I'll be on via Zoom, and that is going to be at 8 p.m. tonight. I don't know if it's live or if he's pre-recording it or what, but I think it's live. So you've seen Kevin Keane in the chat. He has a podcast called Hard Rock Life, and that's at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. So make sure to check that out. I don't have a link for it just yet. There he is. I don't have a link for it just yet. Okay, it's going to be pre-record. So as soon as it's done recording or whatever, and I have a date for a release and a link for it, I will share it with you guys. Release sometime tomorrow. Right on. Okay. Yes, just make sure you stay in touch with me about that stuff. Send me a link, the Zoom link, all that stuff, and then and we'll get this going tonight, buddy. I look forward to it. I can't wait, actually. I'm excited. So yeah, and I just ordered a new mic, man. I kind of wish that my new mic was already here for that. Because apparently this one has already kind of had its run. So Sean at 6. I don't think, I mean, yeah, somebody said that Sean wasn't even going to be on Howie Carr tonight. So I don't know. Oh, Sean's going to be on Turtle Club tonight. So he's going to be on with with Turtle Boy. Okay, so make sure to check that out. Please make sure to check that out. And I will be there as soon as I'm done recording with Kevin. But I'm really, really looking forward to that. So, guys, I hope those of you who are new to the channel, you guys know what Turtle Boy's dealing with here. I mean, they charged him on charges that they know they can't prosecute on. Once there's no way that they're going to be able to prosecute him when it comes to when it gets to a trial. So right now, what they're doing is just playing keep away when it comes to discovery and keeping him under this umbrella of fear, basically trying to keep a leash on Turtle Boy and keeping him from doing his job and keeping him caged with the threat that he could violate his bail in some way just by doing his job. And nobody should have to live like that. And it's clearly for the purpose of keeping him silent and keeping him somehow in a box. And this is America, folks. This is America. You have freedom of speech and you have freedom of the press, and any one of us are free to go out and investigate something. You have the right to do that. You have the right to ask people questions, and they have the right to decline those questions. But you have the right, make no mistake, to ask those people questions. And you can go any public place. You can even go to a lacrosse game to ask people questions. It doesn't matter. You can do basically whatever you want as long as you're not physically hurting someone. So it's... Oh, okay. So it will be on Sean's channel too. Okay, cool. Going Through the Motions is Sean's channel. Make sure to subscribe to Going Through the Motions. And that's at 6 tonight. Okay, cool. I'll be listening to that. And yeah. Sorry, I was looking over at chat. I'll be listening to that, and tonight I'll be recording with Kevin Keane, and we got a lot of stuff coming up in the future, folks. So keep your ear to the grindstone. Guys, thanks you. I really appreciate all you guys, man. You guys are absolutely fantastic. All of the support, I can't even express how grateful I am for that. Please make sure to hit the like and make sure to subscribe if you're not already. And if you guys are new to the channel, I really hope that you're enjoying the channel. And I'm grateful to you guys for subscribing and hanging out. This is a big family, and it gets better as it gets bigger, I promise. So, guys, you are fantastic. I love you guys so, so very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.